there for it. You can put yourself in the way of beauty.
My kind of woman.
Get on! Oh my god, I can't believe everything!
Yeah?
Just
What's up?
starting with screaming.
Yeah, what's up?
Here's the problem is now all of our captions get shown on the screen
Yep.
before we start.
Oh yeah, no, you are getting exposed because there's nothing I can do about that.
It's also Yep.
Is
From
it?
something I said like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, I think No, there we go.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
It refreshed. It refreshed.
I had to refresh it. Okay, so everything should be fine. I don't think anything's exploded. I hope. Not that
I
I've
can
noticed.
hear everyone on stream. I
You-
can hear all of us.
Sick. Okay. Hello. Welcome to episode 24 of Stormborn's Curse. We're back. Really quickly before we get into it. Oh God, I don't have the link. I always do this and I don't have the link. But if you would like to help us out for free,
I can help.
okay. If you
Jesus, so much is happening.
if you would like to help us out,
So much energy
totally.
right now. I don't know why.
Oh dear God, are you like
Chris, what the
reaching
hell?
into? What are you doing?
Was that a fucking
Yeah.
grab
Separating
bag?
coffee filters. He's separating coffee filters.
It sounded like you
Might
put
be
us in a
fun.
blender. Like, hello?
Yeah.
Will it blend? Stormborn's Curse Edition.
Alright, written link.
Anyway, a very free way to help out the stream. If you like what we're doing every week, whether you're here for the first time or you're a returning veteran, the best way to support us for free is to boost the going live tweet to let people know that we're here, we're hanging out. We are here pretty much every week, and we are... I don't like to assign the word small to what we do because there's nothing small about the personalities and the stories that we're telling.
We're very strong.
Yes, we're beefy. However, you know, sometimes good things get buried, and it'd be cool if you like what we do. If you just want to give us a little bit of a boost. Hi Bryce. Really quick, I had another announcement. I can't remember for the life of me what it was. Oh boy, I do this every time, every single time. Possibly next week, if not next week, the week after, I'm going to be going hard on gaming streams. We're going to finish Little Nightmares. We're going to get back into Jedi Fallen Order. And if possible, we're going to start Resident Evil 8, which I promised in October. Still happening. Eventually. Maybe by next Halloween. But that's coming up soon. So just keep an eye out on that. And if you've missed any episodes of Stormborn Curse or any other gaming content that I've done, that's over on my YouTube channel, which is now in the chat. Thank you, Kristen. You can check all of that out there. I will also be putting all of the episodes of Stormburn's Curse up this week that are missing. I believe we're missing about 2 or 3 episodes on the VOD playlist right now. I was having some Wi-Fi issues, but those have been fixed, so I will be uploading those very shortly. If you've missed our
I heard
content.
wife issues, by the way. So.
I'm having.
Liz, you didn't tell me.
I'm having wife issues in the sense that I don't have a wife.
Do not have wife. Yeah.
Yeah, that is the issue.
I'm right here. I'm available for booking.
Okay.
Like a Russian mail order bride?
No, just like I like to diversify my income.
And in the first few minutes, I've already almost been killed. Hi, Maya.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. A lot happened last session. As usual, I'm going to attempt to do a quick recap, but just bear with
You want to
me.
skim the notes?
That's exactly what I'm doing.
All right.
Phenomenal. So you might hear the words "notice me, senpai" in a few moments. Chat. I'm sorry. That was Sarah's.
I wasn't
notes.
gonna read them verbatim because there's a lot.
Listen, I think it was accurate to say that Faustus appreciated how Tessa noticed me, senpai.
Anyway,
That's
I
true.
think
You're
that
right.
was a very
You know what?
succinct way of putting that.
Never mind. I'm
I'm
wrong.
not sure why we're assuming that Faustus isn't the senpai.
that's also true.
Okay.
No,
No,
He's
no.
not.
I literally
He's
was
not.
just like, no.
No.
I am.
I know you're Faustus, but you're wrong. I know Faustus personally.
I'm sure Faustus, he might be a brat, but he's definitely a bottom.
Noted. Anyway,
Bratty bottom.
So-
Good to know. Good to know.
taking
That's what
notes.
all brats are.
That's actually really fair.
If you haven't noticed the ADHD tag on the stream, it's
Now you
very
should.
relevant.
You should see
The
it
amount
now.
of times where I was just like, ADHD banter happened for like 15 minutes.
Yes. I actually do want to say that's something I wanted to talk about. That was the thing I forgot. I haven't really mentioned it because like we would say it on stream, it'd be funny, but we are very generally all, except for Tide. Tide, like, Chris has the brain cell in comparison to everything that's happening, but Ty does not have the brain cell, and it's very hilarious.
I'm
We
actually taking my meds as we speak to hopefully.
And then like
counteract
all
the
of
feeling.
our
That's why I left right
characters.
before.
we are all as a group very,
Yeah.
very, very ADHD, and it results in tangents. Sometimes things don't follow through all the way, which I know can possibly be distracting or anything to hold on to. So I am putting out a fair warning. I know it's a little late in the game now, but putting out a fair warning of like, that's how we are, and we're all able to communicate with each other, but that also might be a little bit overwhelming. So just, take care of yourselves. Whew, okay.
Episode 24. By the way, we forgot to mention this, but we all have ADHD.
In true
It's such an
ADHD fashion, yeah.
Just
These are all
on
man.
brand. Oh,
Okay,
We also
so
all share a brain cell.
I'm
And
going
sometimes that
to.
happens.
okay. We'll all
really
be
quick,
quiet.
one more thing.
Shit!
One more thing, and then we'll all be quiet. One more thing. Our lovely Kristen over here is in a campaign, a TTRPG
fuck?
campaign called Deadlands: The Crossroads. It is phenomenal. It premiered on YouTube. I don't have the link handy.
I'm looking for it right now.
Please find the link for it. Kristen is a phenomenal performer. The concept for the story is very interesting. None of the players are really communicating with the other groups. You're following a ton of different people throughout this story.
It's on this channel that's in chat.
Thank you, Sarah. None of the players aren't communicating with each other, and we're following these separate groups of characters through this intertwining story. And if you die, you're gone. People drop in and out of the call. It is really interesting to watch, and Kristen is an amazing performer, and we support our friends. So if you're also looking for more TTRPG content to consume, that's a very good place to send your love, and also to the rest of the cast, who are also amazing performers as well. Okay, now we're gonna jump into
Kristen
the recap.
streams.
Kristen does also stream, so we should
my-
everybody go follow Kristen on her Twitch as well. Okay,
Cool.
taking us into the actual recap here. A lot happened, but the big event was we got Jake back. Woo! And
We earned Jake back.
yes, we unlocked Jake. Because Jake
The
returned
cosmic
to us.
bodies have realigned,
Yes,
and my astral form has recondensed into its physical form.
those
We
were
saved
words.
Jake from the eldritch being known as the pits of hell. I don't know. I
Such a
lost my train of
strong
thought so quickly.
start, not a weak finish. We got
It's the name
Faustus
of
back.
your sex.
Okay. We got Faustus back.
It's okay. That's what I was thinking. just
I
didn't say.
also heard it.
Hey, I'm gonna mute because I can't control myself.
We got Faustus back. So we kind of opened up with Faustus in the, not one of the main cargo holds, it's like a separate, more shallow cargo hold, perhaps for equipment or things that are easier to grab on a whim. And it has like a tarp that covers a sort of lattice work large hatch in the top of the deck. And oh no, am I showing up on the captions, by the way? I don't think I am. Cool. Hold on. I'm gonna fix that really quick because I'm about to say a lot of words. It just decided I should be muted, so that's cool. Sick. Alright, anyway, going back to what I was saying. Faustus in this little hatch, a couple of episodes ago, Tessa and Faustus and Raven had a very awkward, tense sort of confrontation where Tessa had expressed her interest in formally perhaps beginning to date the two of them. And part of her culture is to not propose, but propose in the sense of a proposition, not a marriage. So she offered them both gifts that she had made herself, which were wrapped up, and we had not seen them at the time. Raven, in a panic, had told Tessa that she was only interested in Faustus monogamously, and Faustus went with it. And Tessa, heartbroken, had run away and thrown the gifts overboard so that she didn't have to keep looking at them and thinking of how much that hurt. Faustus, ever crafty, had actually caught both of the presents before they landed in the sea, thanks to a good old mage hand, and tucked them into his satchel. Now, coming back to last episode, he was able to open up those bundles and see what they were, and they were 2 matching jewelry boxes. These, one, a deep, deep blue painted like the night sky with clouds and stars and the moon and painstaking detail. That one was for Raven. The other, black and silver with faint gold detailing and this sort of imagery like vines crawling up the outside of it. Each of these boxes are identical in make, however different in decor. They can hold small trinkets. The inside has a deeper depression sort of to put stuff in, but there's also these shallow drawers that could hold perhaps some full-size vials, other just smaller things. Each of the jewelry boxes also had a dagger inserted down into it that served as a handle for the box if necessary, but also could be removed like a sheath, and each dagger was also appropriately decorated. Faustus's had a long engraved blade with the symbol of Istis, and also just a pair of scales, and these 2 coiled snakes on the outside of the blade in a sort of symmetrical design, and a pearl on the hilt. Ravens with 2 crescent moons that kind of poked out from the hilt a little bit. And I don't remember what the symbols were on yours. Oh no, just like I think it was a generic symbol of protection. And the same.
There was also Saloon's elven symbol.
That was the one.
It.
Thank you. And this blade as well for Raven. So Faustus had seen these boxes, exhibited very great self-control. We were all very proud of this moment, where upon opening the boxes found there was a letter for both Raven and for Faustus, one for each. Did not open Raven's letter, but chose to read his own, which was a very heartfelt message from Tessa about how she sees him, like really sees him and sees good in him, and is just honored to be in his presence, and just really opened up her heart in a way that she hadn't really necessarily done verbally to anyone. She's a very open person, but this was a little bit different and was very personal. Faustus, kind of that cleared some of the, not all, but some of the hangups that he had. And so he gave Lilith a couple berries that Tessa had also gifted him for Lilith, and took a nap about it. Renori, we then went to Renori, who had fallen overboard last session, and she was saved thanks to mostly Raven, but also Casper, but mostly Raven. And there was just a whole moment with Casper, kind of trying to comfort Renori, feeling terrible about the sort of tension that had happened just before, and a little bit shaken at the thought of losing her. And then Raven was upset about missing her milk bath, about ruining her milk bath instantly. Faustus had a conversation with Renori and Casper, then Tessa and Raven, and about all of that with the presents and everything, and then started a new habit of saying everything out loud, but definitely went to kind of figure out where to go next, and after some begrudging conversation with Raven, decided to have a conversation with Tessa himself, and did that first, and that went pretty well, and it ended with the two of them sort of doing some exercise together in close proximity, but without the tension that had been hanging there before. Raven, having spoken to Faustus a little bit about his feelings, decided to go down and read her note, which was very similarly a very heartfelt, open mind letter from Tessa about how she was honored to be in Raven's presence, and the way that Raven has grown so much to want to take steps towards stability and to make decisions that alienate her from the safety she had with her patron, to just be able to step forward and take a chance on finding peace. And that Tessa said she wanted to be that peace for Raven. Raven has not spoken to Tessa about that yet. She kind of was in mind soup for a little bit. Casper and Minori had a conversation about Casper and Tessa having a tense conversation. There was so much talking last session, where Casper
Raven also found out that the little mini version of her in the jewelry box is wearing the white dress from this coronation. But the coronation and the white dress never happened in this timeline. So Raven is freaking out a little bit about that.
This is true. The jewelry boxes had a sort of music box style top compartment with a miniature version of Raven and one and Faustus in the other. It kind of spun around and Raven's had the dress on. Casper and Renori had a conversation about Casper kicking her and subsequently Raven and Tide out of the captain's quarters after having a tense conversation with her, and said he wasn't really supposed to talk about this, but told Renori that Tessa had been thinking of leaving. She didn't feel welcome aboard the Seahawk for a while, and she had finally chosen to find her own direction, so that after this larger mission was done, she wasn't going to abandon the mission, but after this larger mission was done, if things didn't change, she was going to be leaving for good. Casper also noted, because Renori kept pouting, that he did not make the boat throw her overboard, that it was likely Tessa, because of her connection to water and the sea. I'm like skimming through this. Sarah did this amazing, very detailed recap for us, which is like phenomenal, and I'm trying to get the best parts of it. We also had a conversation about going to the mainland. This was where we're actually going to pick up today. Everybody sort of laid plan ideas out on the table to figure out where we're going to go and what the plan was. And of course, Renori and Casper boinked. I think that was about it. I talked a lot. I hope I got most of it.
Enough.
But
yeah, it was enough.
It's enough. If there's like missing pieces there, you also like have to watch the episode, because there's like 4 hours of stuff that happens every week. So unfortunately, that's the best I can do, and most of that is thank you to owed to Sarah, because Sarah was able to write out this recap, and my brain would not have.
I had to rewatch it as well.
Yeah.
Granted, was it interesting hearing everything at 2x speed? Yes. Because our shenanigans are like tolerable in normal speed, and then it happens.
It becomes like Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Oh God. I can't even imagine. So, we're going to pick up actually a few minutes after the captain's quarters conversation. So Renori, Raven, Faustus, you had been in there with Casper, trying to figure out a distinct path about how to approach necessarily going onto the mainland. There are a lot of challenges involving some people being wanted, other people being hunted. Just generally,
her 7 evil exes.
Yeah, just generally no one's popular in a lot of places, so they started compiling a plan. Tide. We get to talk about where you are, because you were not there for this conversation. Where would you? I'm gonna let you place yourself anywhere. Where would you be?
I was just looking at the recap from the previous week to see who
was standing
where
in
was
the
I.
corner of the captain's quarters this whole time, and none of us.
That's the worst timeline.
He would have probably been with Boomstick, because of where Boomstick is emotionally, or where she was the end of 2 sessions ago. I think he would have been just down there, not really saying anything, just kind of being around to help as needed and be able to listen to her if she had anything she wanted to say.
Okay. So the armory does smell faintly of smoke, but it's not as overpowering as usual. The cannon hatches are open, so there's a breeze flowing through, and the ship initially had been rocking kind of hard, like not middle of a thunderstorm, but
Sexy way?
no.
Okay.
We're talking about when Renori got launched, so no. um, the ship had
Boats
Jake,
rocking,
no.
don't come knocking.
the ship had begun to rock a little bit more intensely than normal as the waves are, and it wasn't in like a pattern of the weather picking up. It was very erratic.
Thought you were gonna say erotic, and I was like, what?
Yeah, we gotta go, guys. That's the end of stream. That's it. I'm just gonna pull the plug on my computer. No, the patterns sort of become erratic. Boomstick doesn't seem too concerned, but you do pick it up a little bit more easily, not just because of the physical motion, but just like a general underlying awareness of the waters around you. She's kind of... Ooh. Renori, do you remember if you told Boomstick explicitly to keep those necklaces secret? I don't think you did.
I did not.
Okay. So, Tide.
So in the conversation, Boomstick would know not to tell Casper because I said it was a surprise for Casper, but other than that, no.
Okay.
And she already told me about him.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you see Boom... Well, I was trying to figure out if she would have them out around you at all. That's what it was. So you see her...
I think I vaguely remember the startings of it being on the desk anyway.
Yeah. Well, that's what she's doing now still. You see this intricate... She's making, like, 2 silver chains, but she's hand bending the links. And instead of them just being ovals, they're, like, these curlicues that link together. And once they're clipped, they stay. They can't be pulled apart. And she's just painstakingly taking, like, a little bit of metal, pinching it between her fingers, bending it with very, very carefully. Sometimes with tools, other times just with her fingers, and then clipping it together while the metal's still a little bit warm. She's probably humming while she works. She doesn't really say much. It takes her a while to get out of this sort of quiet stewing of emotions that she was in earlier. But she does, once she gets into her work, pull back out of it. Every once in a while, she just, like, looks up at you and smiles, probably asks you to hold something for her, but for the most part, it's comfortable quiet.
I think Tide every so often would forget the fact that she's working with metal and lots of heat, and would occasionally touch it to, like, point at it and, like, singe himself a little bit, and not learn from this mistake. Like, do it probably at least 5 times.
Okay. Every time it happens, she just kind of sighs a little bit and pushes your hand away ever so gently, and then you just go back in and do it again. But you are probably actually helping her catch, like, points where she hasn't bent the metal enough anyway. And light, like a light, calm sort of atmosphere. Do you want to say anything specific to her, or should we come back to you?
No, come back to me.
Okay, so that's where you start your day. Actually, roll me a perception check.
Yes, Tide's strong suit.
Yes.
9.
As the ship is sort of moving, you think you hear a splash, but probably not. Boomstick doesn't seem concerned. And you both continue in your patterns. Okay. Coming back up, that's at the beginning of the session and probably just going to continue throughout the day. So when we come back to you, it's going to be, like, later in the day. Probably into the evening. Vernori, Raven, Faustus, you've all had this conversation with Casper about solidifying a plan. You're all still standing together. Casper has said that it'd probably be easier for him to take on an alternate identity and a disguise. And then we could try the invisibility thing once you're actually into the palace. But for the most part, that seemed practical. You started marking up a map with, like, let's not go here. I know this route, etc., etc. You're all still on the tail end of that conversation here standing together. And it's just Casper and the three of you.
Casper did give Raven his first sword on her way out.
Yes. Yes, he did.
So are we still talking?
Oh, yeah, that's right. You guys, like, kind of... My bad.
We already kind of, like,
left. Yeah. Okay, you've all split up. Renori, I assume you stayed behind, or did you want to set out to do something?
Nori would immediately tell Casper that she needed to go find Tide to talk to him about all of this. So she would, like, be on her way out as well.
Okay. Raven, where would you be heading?
Raven would be, like, walking alongside Faustus as they're, like, exiting.
Faustus, where are you going?
Well, Raven has, like, a thing in mind. She's about to ask him, like, hey,
okay,
did you
well...
eat anything at all today? Like,
okay.
Let's go get some food, because I've been failing at eating all day.
Me with your best shot.
Okay, so, would you...
It's so baritone.
Would you both be heading to the galley then?
Yeah, I guess. Like, she would just be like, hey, like, did you eat today? Because if not, we probably should. Because I have tried to eat, and then nothing stayed down.
Lilith had some berries, but I haven't eaten yet today.
Okay, well, let's go and see what Fishhook has made for dinner then.
Okay. So following the two of you down into the galley, the aroma reaches you before you reach the dining hall. There is just the faint, but very, like, it's like crisp. You catch the scent of, like, a faint curry, fresh herbs, and it's just sort of, like, spread throughout the room now. And you see Fishhook spooning out, like, rice, and then this wonderful... It's like, very obviously a curry, but it's this deep russet red, and you can see, like, small pieces of, like, vegetable and everything in it. And there's, like, bits of herb and et cetera, et cetera. And this long, sort of rounded piece of dough that he's, like, folded up on the side as well to pass out to everybody. And he sees you, like, come down and gives you a nod, but he's still spooning out plates.
Raven will sort of, like, walk up and, like, grab a plate and just be like, I didn't throw up after. Yeah, she didn't throw up after.
You had to think about it?
I had to think about it, because I was just like, I think that was the last time. And so she's just gonna proudly kind of, like, pick up a plate, hand one to Faustus, and then pick up another one.
Hey, I'm proud of you.
Thanks.
He keeps...
This one hasn't eaten at all.
He, like, narrows his eyes at you in, like, a fond way and points at you with the spoon, like, you have to take care of yourself.
I run very efficiently. I don't need as much food.
Bullshit, but okay. Take a plate. And he...
As I just let him say things, you know?
Bishop just kind of shakes his head with a wide, brilliant smile. Okay, you grab plates and you're just gonna sit down and eat?
Yeah. Raven has, like, clearly something in the back of her head. So she will pick up a spoon to, like, go to eat something, but instead just speak out loud, like, so, what was your impression of me when we first met? Am I intimidating?
Maybe to some people.
Were you intimidated?
In the right way, I think. You're formidable. You have skills.
What? I also don't know what that means, but thank you. I just was told, sort of, that I was very intimidating to meet.
By who?
That, well, and then she will unfold the note and sort of just, well, she'll just like take out the envelope and be like, wave it around and then put it back in her pocket.
Yeah. Tessa was homeschooled, basically. You have to understand.
So she is not
Like
used
Jacob
to
was.
the street urchin. Sorry, she does not say that.
She's going to be a little bit taken aback, I think.
God.
I mean,
Private tutors, private art lessons, private music lessons.
This
all that nonsense.
This is fair. I was just there's a lot of this letter that makes it basically felt like I was reading a letter for someone else. So I just wanted to see and get a gauge of that, I guess.
Yes, I think sometimes Tessa's perspective can be unique. Take it with a grain of salt, I guess.
Well, it's not like it was a very flattering picture of myself. I just don't know if I just don't know if I necessarily could. It's just odd that this is a letter for me.
Why is that?
Raven.
Because you don't think of yourself as intimidating?
It's not that. It's just, I mean, it's kind of cool. It's just that now there are other points. There's slightly.
I don't know. Your pact was with a fiend. That's pretty badass. That's pretty rough. That's like me type energy. It's very cool. And then when he asked something of you that you didn't want to do, you said no to like the devil. I think that's pretty intimidating. In a good way.
He's an archdevil. He would correct you. It's not just any devil. Anyway, that's less.
How does one even get into something like a pact with an archdevil? Just so I know how to avoid it.
Is this really you avoiding it, Faustus, or are you now intrigued?
I don't think it would be a good fit for me. I'm mostly just intrigued.
Okay. So basically,
I don't like serving a master. So
this is also very true. Well, Mephistopheles wasn't necessary. At first, it was kind of like that, but it quickly devolved into, and she would not use this analogy. She'll use something a little bit more apt to the world, but it's very much like a Raven was a temp, and like he was the manager at that office. Kind of scenario. But where did you pull ice cream from?
I have many secrets.
Okay.
Ice creams. She literally has a freezer right next to her.
There's literally a fridge right.
I guess my question more is like, when did that happen?
I watched it happen.
Literally 5 seconds before you asked.
Okay, cool. You noticed.
I was just worried that I was like just heavily inobservant. Anyway.
That's okay. I came back with chips in a burrito bowl. So.
You did. You really did.
If I don't eat right now, I might pass out.
Please
so
don't do that.
Everybody.
All I have at my desk is this bottle of mustard.
No.
Thank you, Sarcastic Jacob, for the hydrate redeem.
Oh,
Put that up for a sec.
nah.
Anyway.
Jacob drinks the mustard.
I mean, there's got to be some water in it, right?
I
Not
know, it's so marginal.
Fucking
sense.
enough.
Distilled vinegar, water. It's the second ingredient.
Oh,
I mean, might as well.
don't actually. I'm begging you not to.
There's garlic powder in here?
I'm not surprised. Anyway, sorry. So that's the analogy she would use. Like, she's a temp, he is the manager in that office. But it's more like a Faerun specific analogy for that. I'm not gonna try to bullshit my way into that one because it would come out poorly. And so Raven will just be like, well, it's kind of a long story, but the way that this happened, I actually didn't even know how to read or write until I got to the cults because they were trying to train me as this gift from Corellin?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I said the name correctly and I remembered it.
Good job.
This gift from Corellin, and so they taught me to write and read in Common, Elvish, and Celestial, but I didn't care about Corellin, so I would go to the more restricted ends of their libraries, and they had
I
books
love
that were
restricted libraries.
they had books that were in
That have the
Abyssal,
best
and
books.
yes, it was really interesting. And Abyssal and Celestial are not opposite languages; they're more like sister languages that follow very like familiar patterns with each other. And I guess a real world example of that could be like languages that share the same root language, like Latin languages and stuff like that. And so Raven will
What
basically
is Latin?
explain.
What is this Latin you speak of?
I just mentally strangled something.
That's something they taught you in religious school?
Anyway, Raven will explain that she essentially taught herself to speak Abyssal because she was being taught to speak Celestial, or likes to read and write in it. And so she basically got caught sneak around in the restriction section. That started the devolvement and derailment into her being constantly punished and only being used for menial labor tasks. But she would continuously try to sneak into the restricted section, and that's when she read a book that mentioned Mephistopheles in like a singular line of the book, and she was just like, and she remembered that when she needed to make a warlock pact, and like in some way when she was like, shit, I need to get powers, and she thought of Mephistopheles, she was just connected to the guy. Like she butt dialed him or something. I don't know. And yeah, that's like how she became a warlock.
This is my favorite thing because it's like absolutely not how packs work, and that's definitely how Raven would tell another person that packs work.
That sounds interesting. It sounds sort of not really defined by a clear set of rules or steps that I could follow. Which I guess doesn't matter because we're not going to do it.
Yeah, you were just saying that you were only.
So I guess that's not really a concern then.
Mm-hmm.
Just in a theoretical sense, it's not a particularly good user manual for the process. But...
Well, did you want to use your manual?
Knowledge is power.
I'll put that on my to-do list. And Raven finally takes like her first bite of the curry.
Knowledge and knives, both of which start with KN. They have that in common.
Bars. Raven.
And you have to keep both of them sharp.
I can't even be mad.
Is Faustus making these like asinine?
I can't even.
Is he actually doing that in character?
It's in character.
Oh boy.
Yes. Okay. Then Raven is going to just set a spoon down, look at Faustus, and be like, I let you say things. And just continue to just eat her curry. Like, she's not going to unpack any of that.
It's very... There's like a kick that hits immediately. Spicy, but not too much. And then it sort of fades into this defined sweetness that's accompanied by like the herbs. It's very fresh and full of flavor. And it's so wonderfully warm. And that paired with this piece of dough that he's given you that you can tear off. It's not like a folded piece of bread. It's more like dough that's been fried delicately. So it's one piece that you could fold if you wanted to, but really you just tear pieces off of it to dip. It's really good. That's all. I just love it when he cooks. So are you two going back to eating?
Unless like there was anything pressing. No.
All right.
There's nothing else to talk about. Yeah.
Renori, you're on your way to find Tide. So I'm actually going to go over to Tide first. So the evening begins to wane. You can see where the sun has pretty much fully set behind the horizon. The last bits of orange and gold kind of peeking off of behind like distant ships and the very faint outlines of land masses in the bay. The breeze grows a little bit stronger as darkness begins to fall, and you can see just the beginning pinpricks of stars. Boomstick has, just with errant gestures, lit a few lanterns that are hanging in the space. And she's now taking a break, because you could see, like, every once in a while she'd slow down and, her hand, like, she'd, like, massage her hands, like, you think she's probably cramping up, so she just puts the chain she's working on down for a second and just takes a seat, on a nearby barrel. What would you be doing at this point?
Can I, roll for perception to see how Boomstick is doing right now?
Like, emotionally or physically?
Emotionally.
Do insight.
Ooh, okay. Okay, 17.
Okay. She's still quieter than usual. The past few times that you've done this where you spend time together, she tends to, like, eventually either she hyper focuses or eventually she starts rambling about what she's doing, which most of it ends up going over your head anyway, but she just looks happy for your company. She's been quiet, not quite hyper focused, a little bit distant, and you're seeing it now more that she's stopped. Now that her hands have gone idle, she's kind of got one leg propped up on this barrel, her back leaning against the curved wall of the armory. Head tilted back, her eyes just kind of closed, one arm just slung over that knee, and you just see her fiddling with her fingers, and whenever like her nail like scratches against itself, you just see like a gentle spark that dissipates into the air, or an errant ember that fades. She seems definitely not as upset as earlier, but very lost in thought. And quiet in a way that concerns you a little bit.
So I think at this point, he's kind of grappling with these two things. The first is obviously that he can tell that she is a little off, but doesn't know exactly what's going. Like, I mean, he knows why overall, but he's also hungry. At this point, he hasn't eaten in a long time, so like his stomach will start growling, and he'll kind of like do, you know, like in the cartoons where like it has like the squiggly lines, and like he kind of like looks down and hopes no one notices, So he's gonna do that, and that's the intention behind this. And then he's gonna look over to her and be like, "So, are you feeling better, or?"
Yeah, I'm good. Are you good?
I mean, I guess I feel different, but I mean, I don't feel bad.
Okay. Well, do you want to talk about anything? You don't have to, but I'll listen.
Is there something you want to talk about, or?
Oh, no. I'm fine. I asked you first anyway.
Okay. What if we go get food?
That sounds marvelous. Yes.
Okay, cool. Because I'm very hungry. Are you ready now, or?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay.
And she
gonna...
she swipes her working gloves off the table and pulls them on. She's wearing like a sort of like a button-up loose blouse, but she had taken it off and like tied it kind of around her waist, and she like pulls it back over her head, as you guys are climbing back up. And as you come up onto the top deck and Boob Six kind of falls into step beside you, Renori, you would see the two of them emerging from the hatch and heading towards the crew area in the galley.
Yeah, the minute Renori sees them, "Hey, Tide, you're actually just the person I'm looking for."
Is Renori wet from falling in the water?
Mm-mm. No, okay.
At this point, she's dry.
She's also no longer wet from when she boinked Casper.
No.
Just for the record,
in
Chris,
front of my ice cream?
This wasn't, stated. You know how Liz asks for the 3 words? Renori's 3 words this time were, worship me. So, anyway.
Those are 2 words, and not what the words were. But that was the spark
notes. Is worshipped.
Well, yeah, no, Casper worships her, but anyway, it's same. Anyway, yeah, so not wet from falling in the water, no.
Okay. Hey, what's up?
So, we have a plan now, kind of, but we need your input as well. So I have come to find you, to apprise you of all of these things, and also get your thoughts. If you're open to that. We could, go grab some food and talk about it over food, because I threw up all of mine, so.
Okay, yeah, let's go get food.
Hey, Boomstick.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, let's, we could do that. That sounds like a great idea. I'm starving.
Okay. All 3 of you are able to make your way down to the galley. Raven and Faustus, the dining hall starts to pick up with a little bit of noise as once again the shift change happens where sailors are passing through to either eat their dinner and get some rest from doing the day shift or vice versa. And most of the people just come in and out and then either take a seat far away or leave entirely. And about halfway into your meals, Renori Tide and Boomstick descend the ladder. You would see them because the ladder's in pretty close view. Boomstick would probably pass plates back to the two of you because everybody's kind of eating the same thing, and then there are a couple people with like different plates who you assume like have some sort of dietary something. And so with that, where would you like to sit? Are you sitting with Raven and Faustus, or are you sitting away?
I mean, I would follow Tide and Boomstick's lead.
Yummy dinner. Is this how roleplay works?
I think Tide would sit on Raven's side, but like leave enough space for like someone to sit in between him and Raven. So like either Renori or Boomstick can get in the middle.
Boomstick will probably squeeze like on the end next to you.
Smart decision.
Renori would sit across from Tide next to Faustus.
So there's just an awkward space between you and Raven now.
Yeah, Renori would not have picked up on like the subtlety of like, I'm leaving room for someone. Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Wow, the tension in this space is not ideal.
Raven just has a full mouth, so she's just like,
I'm
really not
know.
speaking.
I don't know what
like...
you mean.
So she's just like, she's like kind of like, I physically should not speak at this moment. So she's kind of just like mouth full of food. Like her plate is on the verge of emptiness. Like she's starting to scrape the last bits of like grains of rice off of her plate and stuff like that. So she's just like.
Anyway, so Tide, like I was saying before we came down here, we are heading towards the spot that you marked on the map. That is the end goal. But we are also looking for ways to knock out multiple birds with one, giant trip onto land, which metaphorically would be the one stone. And so, Raven and Casper and Faustus all together have brought a lot of really helpful information about areas that we should avoid because, a lot of us are not liked by a lot of people on land and we don't want to die. So Casper will be assuming a different identity on land, and then I'll be able to cast invisibility on him whenever we stop by the palace. For me,
it's less that there's a lot of people that don't like me, and more that there's a few powerful people that don't like me. Just sort of like the rich, you know?
Raven will
people who have something to lose.
Raven will notice the empty seat next to her, and like everybody else is sort of like sitting with each other, and just like smell herself because she did jump into the sea. So she's just like, I hope I don't smell.
A little salty, a little sweaty, but so is like everybody else in general all the time. So it's doesn't stand out to you.
Does anyone need anything if I'm going to go get seconds from Fishhook?
Okay. Tide.
She goes to get like a half portion extra, and then she'll come back. So.
Fishhook does that, and then you see the basket of like the fried dough. There's only a couple left, and he looks at it, and he looks at you, and he just goes shh, and slides you an extra one.
I love you, thank you, and then she'll like turn around.
Gives you a nod. Tide, Boomstick stands. Plate mostly finished, but she kind of just squeezes your shoulder and leans quietly closer and just says, I'm gonna go. Just, you know where to find me if you need me.
You should. Okay.
She just pats your shoulder. She takes her plate and head down very quickly exits the room and heads for the ladder.
Renori, unaware of everything that happened between like Boomstick and Raven and Tide and all of that, where Raven Raven and Boomstick like clashed, aware of, you know, the previous tension when they had gone down and Tessa was in there, but not the newest development, will not really take stock of Boomstick leaving all that much and be like, oh yeah, Boomstick likes to work, so, you know, heading out. And so she'll hone back in on Tide. So we have a couple of steps in this plan. One, don't get killed.
Tide is gonna look over at Raven, not like side eye, but like subtly enough to like try to make eye contact with her, without like completely turning.
Sorry, it is an 11. She's just so into the curry. Does she see it?
You catch his eye contact. Are you just staring, or are you doing like a subtle like glance and look away, glance, look away?
Yeah, it'll be like a.
You feel like you guys catch eyes a couple times, but you're not sure if it's like purposeful or if it's that really awkward. You just keep looking at each other and making eye contact thing, you know?
Insight was her insight is better. It's like a 13.
You get the sense he's trying to catch your attention, but nothing about his face would say why.
Is Renori fully talking? And like,
yes.
This is gonna like interrupt.
Yes.
Raven's gonna look at Renori and just be like focusing in on what she's saying, despite the fact that she was present for like most of these moments. So she's just gonna be like, look at Tide and then look at Renori with a bunch of purpose and just like eye contact, like such intense eye contact with Renori now, and just eat it.
Yeah, now Renori is unable to look Raven directly in the face because the eye contact is too intense. So she's gonna stay honed in on Tide, even whenever he kind of looks away. So we want to stop by Faustus's school, or, well, not quite, but at least meet at Tide! What the fuck?
My god. There's a few heads that turn to you. Fisher kind of does like a slow over his shoulder and then back to his business.
Tide, I'm trying.
Sweating.
Tide, I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to loop you in so that you can be a part of making choices, and you just fucking won't pay attention, dude.
I know, Raven.
What? Yes.
Renori's like having a conniption. She's like,
yeah. Raven is like looking to Renori for permission to like engage with this, but she's just like,
Raven, just get it over with. Just Tide, shut up.
Yes. What? Yes.
Please talk to Boomstick.
Boomstick called the four of us selfish. So
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Wait. What?
Well, I am selfish, so I guess that's fair.
Yeah, but Faustus, that doesn't...
She said that we only care about the four of us, and then, like, maybe Casper's grouped into that. It'd be ridiculous not to, but, yeah, I'm not taking that. I'm choosing. How shall I put this? I'm choosing is this being from Boomstick's own ignorance as to what's been going on in a lot of our interpersonal lives. I think that most of the frustration was actually to me are with Tessa.
All four of us have sort of tanked our personal interests to try to save the world, so I don't know if that's really a fair criticism.
Well,
which is what I'm saying. And also,
I haven't made any money. That's the whole reason I got on this boat, was to make money, and that hasn't happened. So I think I've given up what my interest in was. It was
we
in
were
an adventure.
supposed to steal that 5 gold. That's all I'll say.
We did discuss it.
But also I don't understand why it would be on the four of us to be involved with every single interpersonal relationship on this boat. There's a lot of people on this boat. You know what I mean? Like, I just didn't understand.
Boomstick just wants to hang out with us because she thinks we're cool, then she should just say that.
Raven will actually be like, yeah.
I think Boomstick's pretty cool. I don't know how this perception was created.
I don't know either. All I know is that the entire conversation was extremely frustrating. So if Boomstick feels sorry, and that's what you're implying, Tide, then I am open to Boomstick approaching me, but I'm not going to force her into a scenario in which I approach her.
I was reading a letter and then I fell asleep, so I don't know about any of this.
Why? Why did? Okay.
I'm gonna do an insight check on Renori. 15 plus 8.
Tears are starting to stream down her face.
23.
I'd like to make a sleight of hand check to steal Raven's extra dough.
Go for it.
Wow, just the duality in this moment. What the fuck?
To both of you to assume that Raven didn't just give you half of it as soon as she sat down.
That is a 10 plus 13 for a 23.
Okay. Would you have given him half of it?
I gave him half of the dough. I just didn't say that out loud.
I take the other half.
That's what I was saying. So, you do have half that she gave you when she sat down. And as she turns her gaze to Renori, who is starting to have the stuttered breaths of tears, you just are you taking it with your hand or your mage hand?
Mage hand.
The other half of the dough just not sliding on the table, but slides off the edge of Raven's plate and onto the edge of yours and just rests there. Raven, go ahead, roll me a perception check.
Not as high. It's a 17. So,
you catch movement at your periphery, but when you glance at Faustus, you don't see anything that's changed.
Would I know enough about Faustus though that this definitely am just you're doing shenanigans?
You suspect shenanigans, but you don't know what the shenanigans are at the moment.
What are you doing?
Renori's still just crying, by the way, everyone.
Renori, you are not selfish. And that was just Boomstick speaking out of frustration. But you are.
You being the one to take back Boomstick's words for her doesn't make it better.
No, I know. I'm just trying to reassure you that this is not, I'm just trying to prevent you from internalizing any of that.
It's not working, but thanks.
An attempt.
It's...
Yeah. Hey, so Tide, are you gonna fucking listen for 2 more seconds? Just really quick? Because we have to make some decisions, and 2 days ago you were screaming at all of us for not moving forward.
Sorry, Faustus is very obviously eating the bread like that. So Raven is just going to whisper under her breath, "Did you just steal the bread? After I gave you half?"
You're all
one.
horrible
and then you got
sometimes.
2 more.
Renori
so you had
leaves.
3, and you have the audacity to give me half?
Renori, there's the screech of a bench, as this part of the bench kind of slides out and Renori storms out of the room.
Yeah, she's gone.
Where are you headed?
Did she leave a roll behind on her plate?
I left all my food. Renori didn't eat anything.
I steal the other roll.
Oh my
God. No one's paying attention to it because the person whose it was is gone. So you get the roll. Renori, where are you headed?
I didn't think that far. Probably to find Tessa.
Okay. We'll come back to you in 1 second. So Raven,
no
Tide,
worries.
Faustus, Renori has just stormed out.
Not Faustus, sorry. Tide, why was this so important that you, like, interrupted Renori?
I interrupted Renori for like a second, first of all. The rest of it was all y'all. But my point was
I was just doing bread pranks. I don't think I'm to blame here.
Sure.
There's part of her story that you don't know, and I know there's part of your story that I don't know and that she doesn't know, and I think I don't know. I think I don't know where I'm going with this.
That makes two of us.
And a third.
I'm gonna go find Renori.
I would recommend that probably. It's important that you know what's going on.
And Tide, do you leave?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Faustus and Raven sneak around for dessert.
Okay.
1000%.
We'll come back to you. Renori, you make your way up onto the deck and it is fully dark. It's fully dark at this point. There are a smattering of stars that decorate the sky. A crescent moon. And it's a bit quiet. The ship seems to have sort of returned to its natural patterns, and where is Tessa right now? You find Tessa at the back of the ship. She is. You hear like impacts before you see her, and you see like Ripley with her hands kind of out, and Tessa's just slightly like doing some like punching and swerving and stuff, like quietly chatting as they do. Just the two of them in this area.
Renori, she would walk straight up and just be like, hey.
Renori, sorry, no, Tessa, there we go. So many names just happened there for a second. Tessa kind of dodges a swipe from Ripley, and they kind of nod at each other. Ripley smiles at you and then just kind of wanders off in the direction of food. Hi? What's up?
I'll look up, like, at the moon in the sky and, like, have a moment, you know, like a oh, I'm connected to you now kind of moment, and just like listen,
I can't.
Anyway,
everything the light touches is,
you know, just a very cinematic moment of Renori actually being able to just kind of bask openly in light, because it's not the sun and it's not something that, you know, half of the time when shenanigans are going on the boat, it's sunny outside, and so she just kind of pauses, and it's very clear that she's been crying, like, and that she actually just stopped. Like, there's wet streaks down her face, and her eyes and nose are, you know, her eyes are red and her nose is a darker kind of purple. And so she takes a moment to, like, close her eyes and feel the moonlight on her to just kind of center herself a little bit, and then she will look back at Tessa. How are you doing?
Renori, how are you doing?
That's not why I'm here.
I can respect
I'd like
that.
to think at that point Tide is like barreling down behind her.
Oh no! Roll me a perception check, Tide.
Oh, good.
Oh boy.
Oh, okay. A 19.
Initially you don't spot them because of where you're coming out of the hatch in proximity to like the mast. It's like a convenient cover. But as you start just Terminator like walking, your view opens up and you see Tessa and Minori having a quiet conversation.
I just start sprinting down.
Oh god. Okay. Minori.
Wait, full speed?
Do I do a perception to
You
see
can
if I
see if you can
Freak?
do a perception check to see if you see him.
God, Tide is tall and beef, just barreling.
Yeah,
Just
By
brick
full
wall.
speed, I
so-
assume he's engaged the stability wings. And
Yes.
Just full arms, legs engaged.
Nice.
17.
Okay. You and Tessa are like this. So it kind of, you see Tide out of the corner of your eye, and you turn and you just see this like wall of water genasi just bearing down on you.
Essa, I really apologize for everything that's about to happen. Renori is gonna cast Hold Person on Tide.
Oh god. Okay. That's a save. Constitution?
Isn't it wisdom save?
Or wisdom.
Let me double check.
I think it's wisdom.
It is, it's wisdom.
Good job, Sarah.
I remember shit sometimes.
That's a 27.
Oh, you're fine.
Tide, you feel for a moment, it's like you run, it's like the air just turns to molasses, like you feel a resistance on your muscles, and you almost come to a complete stop, and then the feeling just sort of, you're just like, what the fuck? And you just keep moving.
Never mind. Renori will mutter under her breath, it's not worth the extra tries.
She's not about to do another 5 tries at Hold Person again.
No. What time? Okay, yeah, that's fair.
I'll run.
Yeah, it's okay.
As Boomstick and
Oh, Tide, you can just you can take a minute or 2 or 5 or whatever, it's okay. You don't have to. I'm not going anywhere this time.
Sorry about not listening. But
It's okay.
Boomstick
Yeah, it
need
seems like
to-
there's something. Yeah, I'm picking up on that, Tide. Yep.
Tide, Tessa, holds out her water skin to you. Okay.
Okay, sorry.
Do the two of you
Sorry
need a
for not
moment?
listening.
No,
I'm
Tessa,
ready.
it's okay.
Okay.
You should know about this stuff regardless.
All right. Okay.
So Renori will take a deep breath.
Tide is only deep breathing at this point.
Yeah. Tide, are you sure you don't need another moment?
Mm-hmm. I'm good.
Okay. So obviously the next step is to head towards land because Tide, you pinpointed that one of the stones is at that lake that's near the palace. Now, there are several other things that a lot of us, I'm not going to say all of us, but a lot of us are interested in achieving, one of which is one of my own personal, aptly described selfish goals. And Renori, wipes away a tear. We have a couple of stops and ideas in mind, one of which being meeting up with someone that Faustus is connected to from his school to see if we might be able to glean any information on what happened to my home. Because, fun fact that I'm still processing, that I just learned like an hour or so ago, is that my school was a branch of Faustus's school. Except that my school was the dirty, nasty school and hidden underground because necromancy is bad. New information for me. I just thought it was like, you know, kind of quirky. Anyway, and so they might know something because of that connection. So that's one of our stops. Another stop is by the palace, potentially, to try and get Ripley out of the contract with Bullseye, because who has more power than the Queen? And then also to let the Queen know the really cool world-saving shit we're doing. That way, if at some point we get really fucked over, we have someone to potentially call on to help us out. Now, all of that leads towards the lake anyway, which is where we need to go. So it's kind of just like stops on the way. But this gets to the important part of, one, we have to be sure to be really undercover because, like, Faustus and Raven are not fan favorites on land, and neither is Casper, especially in a world where the Queen wants all of pirates dead, which, guess what? That's all of us now, too. So we have to lay low. Casper will probably assume a different identity, and I have invisibility as a spell. But really the whole point of this tide is that we have to narrow down who we want to take on this journey with us. So we're trying to figure that part out, and we really need your input of like who you think should join us, because we want to be prepared. And obviously we didn't want to make any final calls without talking to you first. So that's why I'm here. The end.
Okay.
No, we are not taking Brienne. She is a child.
I wasn't gonna say her.
I'm just covering all my bases, okay? Because I don't know when people are gonna quit listening to me anymore. Also, Tessa, hi. That was an information download for you as well.
Yep.
Thank you for listening.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's a lot of ways for this plan to go wrong.
But... Absolutely, but everything about us tracking down these stones leaves room for all of our plans and possibilities to go wrong. We don't have any other choice except to go on to land in the first place, and we might as well maximize our dangerous time while we're there to get as much information as possible on all of our concerns. Did Ty just yawn? Or was that was Renori might have punched him in the face.
Oh God.
No, that was a Chris yawn. No, I agree. No one really knows who I am, so I'm fine with that. So in terms of who to take with us,
we have room for like 3 people. So there's me, you, Faustus, Raven, and Casper, and then we have room to have 3 more people join us, but we don't have to have 3 people join us, you know, like we could have no one join us, we could have like 1, 2. So does the Queen hate you?
No, I can't imagine she would.
Great. It's just really nice to narrow down, like, the list to, like, people who the Queen maybe doesn't want to decapitate, you know?
That's fair. I know you're making your decisions. I'm not throwing a hat in the ring one way or the other, but, I do have a bit of knowledge about how to navigate court behavior. If I don't physically go with you, at least I could give you some sort of.
I don't know what that means.
I think you know,
So you can give us a Princess Diaries training montage? Is that what you're saying?
I am
Knees
Tessa.
together and ankles together.
You make all the other border moves to go wah.
Thank you, the ghost of Raven and the ghost of Faustus. It's like no, it's just like two very talkative seagulls like off to the front of the boat.
You know, that's, you know, Tessa, I am, yep, you, Renori's trying so hard not to spill her guts, about the other timeline. Yes, I trust that that is something you are an expert in, Tessa, and, I think we as a group may have learned from past mistakes, but also, if you don't go with us, it might be helpful to talk to you about it a little bit. I personally would love if you joined us, but I am only one of 5, and so, you know, it's about majority rules, so...
I don't have a preference one way or another. I'm just trying to help.
Yeah, but, like, I really like you. Anyway,
That's
so
very
Tide,
sweet.
so Tide, back to you putting in your votes.
Oh,
Because it would be really great to get going.
Do you
here
want
soon.
do you want a reminder of who you can bring with you?
No. He's
No, it's just literally Tide struggling. It's not Chris.
So here's the thing. This is Tide talking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm on track. Fuck. Sorry. I dropped a dice.
I don't think this is gonna be a popular opinion, but I think Boomstick should come with us.
Is that the only person that you're really invested in coming with us? I mean, do you want to know my roster?
Sure.
Tessa, Ripley, Boomstick.
This is now March Madness.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, Ripley, it makes sense if we're going to get the chains off of her or out of her contract. Then I think she would have to be there. So yeah, Ripley, Boomstick, and then yeah, Tessa
is amazing and powerful
like
and brilliant. Renori forgot Tessa's there for a second, by the way. She's not kissing ass. She's genuinely just like...
Yeah, I was wondering when that was gonna click.
Yeah, I mean, I don't...
Oh, shit, right, sorry.
It's alright. I'm offering my experience whether I'm with you or not, so if you feel someone's better suited to the slot, it's up to you. Just...
You know, there's not really, like... Anyway, okay. Tide, noted. I will keep your votes in mind, and, Tide, thank you for coming to talk to me, and thank you for apologizing. I just want you to know that it wasn't just you. That's not why I left. It was all of you. It was overwhelming, and, not all entirely your fault either, because I'm just, you know?
Mm-hmm. But before we're done here, I guess, Boomstick did say that. What Raven said. I'm not going to deny that, but as all of us have been, it was a very emotionally charged statement, and it wasn't heartfelt, and there's a part of her story that you guys don't know, and she felt like it was something that was going to be told, and now feels like it's 10 steps backwards. So I don't know that she'll come out and apologize, because that doesn't really seem like Boomstick's vibe, but
I mean, as far as Boomstick knows, I don't know that she said that. So, you know.
I know, but
and it's I don't think she's wrong. I think I am selfish, so it's okay. That's just something I have to work on.
She wouldn't have put those necklaces together if she didn't want to.
Okay, so when your DM injures themselves in the middle of a moment,
it's fine. I'm so
cast
sorry.
A healing word on the DM.
I'm so sorry. I hit my elbow, and it was one of those when you slam it and your entire arm goes numb, and you like see God for a moment.
I saw it all happen on your face.
Oh man, you know when you blush on behalf for another person, so like my whole body.
And I was like, no, don't
I saw the flash of pure indignation of fuck you, physics, for letting this happen to me. That's how I feel every time. Like, this was so random. I hate it.
It was pure.
It happened to me anyway.
That was pure instinct,
chance.
Reaction, gut reaction before I could stop it from happening. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, so Renori will wipe away some of her tears. Thank you, Tide. I really appreciate all of that. I don't know that I agree with you yet. It's something I've been feeling for a while, so to hear that someone called it out, albeit not to my face, it's still, it's one of those, your worst fears proven to you kind of feelings, so I'm gonna go, and try and get this fucking situation moving, because I love this Seahawk, but I'm feeling a little claustrophobic, and I want to get onto land for just a few days even. So, and Renori will
where are you headed?
Rush off. See you later.
Not this. Where are you headed?
Oh, it's a fun time, guys.
Hello? No, don't ever do that again.
Where did Mickey?
That's not Mickey. That's his cousin Vicky.
That's his cousin that should have just been kept in the vault.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. No. So
Maya came out of Lurk to be like, fuck that.
She'll go to the captain's quarters because it's one of the few places that she can hide. So
okay. Tide, where are you headed?
Tide is gonna stand there for a couple minutes, feeling a little defeated that he wasn't really able to resolve the issue.
Mm-hmm.
And I think at some point Tessa or Ripley will say something not to him, but just have a conversation, and he'll kind of snap out of it and realize he's been there for too long. And then he's just gonna walk away.
I love that.
And he's gonna go to the barracks.
Okay. All right, so you start heading towards the barracks for Nori, to the captain's quarters. Raven and Faustus, you finish your meal. What are you guys up to? You just chilling?
Destroying some dessert, I think, was the.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh god.
But past beyond that, then I don't have any particular plans at the moment.
There's not really dessert set out for you to smash. So
Raven will ask, hey, you don't have to make anything, but is there anything along the lines of dessert?
This is Liz thinking, not Fishhook.
Make us candy floss, Fishhook. Make us candy floss in the shape of a unicorn.
Oh my god. What he have?
You can do anything.
He does. Okay. He kind of like, he's like cleaning up some of the utensils and everything. Yes. But you can't. You have to eat it here. That's the deal.
Okay.
You can't leave this room.
Raven will glance at Faustus, banking on the fact that Faustus will sneak some out of here anyway.
Okay.
I promise.
He goes over to that cabinet, and he actually, before he does, kind of like leans back and grabs a couple pieces of like, just like parchment paper, and he goes in, and you hear like the classic, just like stuff moving around and shifting, and then he backs his way back
always
out.
Have cookie dough on the ready? Is this what's about to happen?
No, yes, but that's not what it is. He backs out with a silver, like a deep silver pan, and he's kind of holding the parchment paper, and as he kind of bumps the door shut, he sets it down, and it's what we would know is like caramel, basically. It's like caramel squares.
Stop it.
Wow, I love that Fishhook just has stuff from Mrs. Nestle Toolhouse hanging around.
Whom? It's more
Nestle
like
Toolhouse.
It's more of like a
It's a German name.
It's like there's a very specific thing I'm thinking of.
Of the Faerunian Tollhooses?
No, it's Zimnian. But
So
Zimnian Tollhooses?
I don't know if any of you have ever been to Miss Turf Rowling's theme park, but if you have, at
turflings, just turflings.
Yes, at the candy shops there, they have like fudge.
Ooh, yes.
It's like that, but caramel basically. It's more like a caramel fudge than straight caramel. And you do see like there are a couple squares missing. And so he takes a couple pieces out, and they're pretty hefty, like squares for each of you. And he passes you it, like wrapped in the parchment paper, and then he goes to shuffle the tray away. Faustus, are you doing anything?
Did he give us caramels?
Yeah, he gave you each one square, caramels? And it's a very hefty square. It's about like a little bit smaller than the size of your palm.
Clearly, we're going to be trying to take an extra square here.
Okay, roll me a sleight of hand.
Sleight of hand. Let's see what we get. Yeah, 17. It's fine.
The square, another additional square, one of the back corners lifts out of the tray and begins subtly making its way to you as Fishhook has his back turned, sliding this tray into the cabinet, and you just see him with like kung fu reflexes.
Just like the apple fork TikToks?
Yes. Snatches the square.
Such a specific rant.
He snatches the square out of the air like with a backhand and looks over his shoulder at you.
Oh. Faustus is just like gasps with surprise.
Raven rolled a 22 perception, so she luckily saw this entire exchange.
Fishhook just very gently replaces the square back from where it came, shuts the cabinet door, and looks back at you and he says, okay, I'm gonna pretend that didn't happen for your sake. Enjoy. This is our little secret. It doesn't leave this room. Mostly because Casper will kill me.
Is
this Casper's private stash of caramels?
It's like not just I make it for him because it's his favorite.
What happens to Casper if he doesn't get his caramels?
He's just kind of sad.
Does he become enraged?
No, he's just kind of sad. You know when you're
Casper has not shared his caramels with Renori yet, and I'm pissed.
You know when you're like, he handles a lot. He handles a lot, as all of you do, but he handles a lot, and so I just kind of always have some ready, because sometimes,
Yeah, he handles a lot of caramels, apparently.
Yeah, he's got a sweet tooth, but, sometimes he just doesn't eat or things like that, and so I just like to make sure there's at least he has something that makes him happy just on hand,
Shook says Casper has a sweet tooth, and Faustus pulls out a small leather-bound black book and
Okay.
interesting, and writes something down.
Okay.
Actually, on that note, underneath where it says knock sometimes, and I forget the second thing that Raven fully wrote down as a note. It happened last session, but she wrote it down. And then underneath that is bribe Captain Sugar.
Fishhook watches you both right in front of his face. Both of you in sync begin taking notes. He just sighs. I'm not even gonna ask about this, but like I said, our little secret.
This is the same note that she wrote about
Mom's the word.
her nightmares that she's been having now.
My god.
So she's just gonna look at that, be like, oh, look at Faustus and be like, this could wait. Close up the note and put it in the pocket.
Okay.
I think she's seeing if it'll happen again. Because a one-off nightmare, she's gonna be like, it's whatever.
You both have a fudge square. And it's got a little bit of a crumbly texture, it's very solid, but could be sliced. Almost this is the worst thing to say about food, but soap consistency.
I know what you mean,
consistency.
Yeah.
It's the worst thing to say.
I do.
But that's the best.
It's the crumbly nature of soap.
Yeah.
It's not actually soapy or what.
It is not. Exactly.
Yeah. It's a cross between a blondie and a fudge.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but it's caramel. Very good.
I know you said
Very
that
good.
it doesn't leave the room, but Renori's had a really shit day. Could I maybe bring one to her?
Roll persuasion.
Maybe you should bring her half of one. This is Faustus.
I thought I was being generous, okay? Whatever. Persuasion is an 18.
Fine. But I really hope it ends up with Renori.
No, I do mean to bring it to her.
Okay. And he packages up another small piece and he ties it with twine in case she wants it later.
I hate to overextend the ask, but Tide hasn't had a great day either and could probably really use one as well.
Roll me persuasion with disadvantage.
I'd like to roll a deception check if I may.
Okay, still with disadvantage.
I would like to roll insight onto whether this is
sure.
27.
Okay. What's that deception?
11.
With disadvantage?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Yeah, Raven, you see right through this.
This is clearly a lie. Raven's
so
just gonna roll her eyes, just oh my god.
Fishhook looks at you and he goes, now I know Tide though, and if Tide wants a snack, Tide will come ask me for a snack. So, I just listen. It's not personal, but also literally a minute ago, caught you trying to swipe one. So,
Faustus just sniffs
He just kind of it's very fond and very clearly fond, but Fishhook rolls his eyes.
Raven will look at Faustus and be like, if I get to Renori and look in my bag to see that there is no caramel here, there will
I minor illusion a second caramel and just raise it in my other hand to give the impression that I've somehow got another one.
Is there
roll a perception check?
Yeah, I was just wondering.
Sleight of hand, would that be or stealth?
I
whichever
believe
one?
it's against your spell save DC for illusion. I believe.
Spell save DC. That's true, and then I think it would technically be an investigate. It's like an intelligence ability check against the illusion.
Let me double check. I believe.
And my spell
right.
save DC is, I think,
Either
15. Yeah.
Okay.
Either way, it's a modded 20.
Yeah. Either way, that's
Damn.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let me double
intelligence,
check.
Wisdom and charisma are all +4.
Let me double check because I don't want to deny you the possibility, but I do believe she beats you. Yeah, it's an intelligence check against your spell save.
You got me.
So Raven, there's a very convincing image of another caramel, and then it like gets a little bit smaller, and you see it happen, and then it flickers a little bit. At this point, you identify it as an illusion,
He's like straining to keep. He's like,
it becomes more transparent to you, like you see through it.
You holding the other like real caramel?
Yes.
Give me the real one.
What?
No, that's his.
Oh, okay, never mind. I thought that you took the...
What in the 9 hells is the matter with you?
I thought you took the one for Renori. There was a miscommunication. So that never happened.
Have, Raven, you have the one in your hands for Renori, which is wrapped. It has been Fishhook wrapped and tied it.
So Renori will just be like... Or not Renori. Raven. God fucking damn it. My brain is broken now. Raven will just look at Faustus and like the illusioned caramel, and it's just like, I don't. Okay.
It's supposed to be fun, and you people just ruin everything.
Raven will then, like, pat Faustus like on the cheek, just be like, "You'll get over it." I'll go to try to like find Renori if possible, just to drop off a treat.
Okay. Faustus, are you going to go with Raven to do this, or are you going elsewhere?
I will slink behind, eating my treat sullenly.
Okay. Renori.
Because I didn't get to do any of my tricks, I only got a treat.
Yeah. At least you got the treat.
No
Faustus
tricks, only
trick and treat to trick or treat.
Not trick or, just trick and.
Renori. You enter the captain's quarters. Dim light as usual. Casper is, he's seated at the head of the war table, sitting incredibly bisexually, and is just looking over the... Yeah, no, exactly, Sarah. But he's looking over the maps that are spread over the tables and kind of just running a thumb over his lip.
Me sitting crisscross in my chair.
If my legs...
I hate this chair because I cannot crisscross in it.
Yeah. I am proportionally not... I do not grift with this chair. This chair is too small for me to sit bisexually in, and I think it's a crime. He's looking over the maps that are spread over the table. He's got kind of like a few quills laying
I'm waiting
around.
for Jake to eat shit, by the way. Like...
I'm choosing to wait so it'll be a surprise when it happens, because it will. He's got a few maps spread over the table and quills as well. And he's just kind of looking over the maps. Here's you enter and looks up.
You presume?
You just gonna chill like that?
I don't. You can't even really. Okay, you can barely see.
I can
Jake on
see.
stream.
I can see.
It's
the
pure
face.
agony. Oh.
Why are you doing this?
I was hoping to not give Jake any kind of...
The spin is really great. Just the slow spin really made that for me personally.
hoping not to react to it to see how long that they would just be like holding that position.
Me too.
So
I'm not a young man anymore. Can't do these contortions like I used to.
Hey,
So what's up, Renori?
in a sexy way, I felt like it needed to be said.
Jake muted themselves. Good choice. Just stay muted.
It's because I'm breathing really heavily from my exploits.
You're breathing really heavily in the way that Tide was fake breathing really heavily, or Chris was fake breathing really heavily.
Yes. Yes.
With you guys.
Renori
In
would
the animated
come.
feature, it's dubbed with
I'm-
the breathing that's going
I'm a method actor.
Renori would walk in and close the door behind her and immediately walk to come stand behind Casper as he's sitting at the war table and like wrap her arms around his neck and put her head like in the crook of his neck and just start crying.
Oh, that was so cute. And then we left. Okay. He, feeling you like come up behind him, instinctually reaches up to kind of just cradle the side of your face, not really turning to look directly at you, but leaning into your contact a little bit more. And when tears start to run down your face and therefore dampen his cheek, kind of looks and goes, "Hey," and kind of pulls you around so you can like stand in front of him and like kind of like almost like pulls you into his lap, but like not in a sexy way, and I am holding you way.
Yeah. No, this isn't sexy.
I had to say it because someone else would have.
I know. I see all of these clowns in here with us.
This is
us
a circus.
included. Sarah honked her nose. Renori would just kind of like curl into him and like, I mean, she's like kind of sobbing, so it's not like quiet crying. And she is not really able to say anything just yet. And it'll take like several like long stretched out beats before her crying kind of starts to die down. You know, when you just need to cry.
Yeah.
You know?
He just sort of rubs your back. Doesn't really ask what's wrong, but you feel his eyes on you, and he just kind of lets you have this moment. At some point he shifts so that he can hold you a little bit better. I rolled a percentage to see if he would carry you to the bed, but that is not what happens, so you stay where you are.
That's fine. And so finally she'll start to like wipe away the blurriness in her eyes. It's just I just want to be on solid land for a little bit. I'm feeling claustrophobic, and I found out that even though it was during a heated discussion between Raven and Boomstick called the four of us, but she called the four of us selfish ever since we've gotten onto this boat. And I'm pretty sure she's right. When it comes to me, because I'm putting you and everyone else at risk just to find out what the fuck happened to my home. Maybe I should let that go.
Casper kind of just, with a gentle thumb on the cheek, like tilts your face so he can meet your eyes. Please don't let anyone, but especially her, make you feel as though you have to give up what's important to you, because you do not. And you're not selfish. I mean, everybody is selfish in a way or another. To be selfish is to have goals in mind that benefit yourself, and there's nothing wrong with that. Somebody can be selfish and selfless. It's not one or the other. It's not a wrong or right. You're allowed to want things for yourself, to want closure for yourself. I don't know what the fuck's gotten into her. And I'm probably gonna have a word with her, because that's...
I wasn't even there. I technically don't know that she said that.
Doesn't matter.
And, don't have a word with her. It's not, don't be all captain-y about it. It's, you don't have to micromanage everybody's, interpersonal relationships. Don't put that on yourself.
That's not what it is, though. Boomstick's like a little sister to me, and has been for several years. And when a little sister takes it upon herself to talk shit that she doesn't know about, put her in check. The same way I know she would if I was up to my neck in bullshit. It's not even about, like, am I upset that she said that? Yes, but that's not what it is. We all have a lane we should stay in. And I'm not going to go chew her out. I just want to know what the fuck's up, because she thinks she's, like, complicated, but she's really not. She only ever talks shit when she's upset. And she lashes out when she's upset. Because she doesn't know how to be anything but upset. And that's not her fault, but that also isn't an excuse.
I still think she's right, though, about me, in the sense that, sure, goals are great and fine, but the minute that they put other people in danger, are they?
You hear a gentle knock on the door.
Renori just, like, sighs.
Do you need a sec?
I muted myself, sorry, on my headset.
Mm-hmm.
So the Raven knocks and will just be like, I have like a... Renori, you didn't eat, so I'm just dropping food off.
We're not having sex, just come in.
I didn't think that that's what's happening. You seemed upset. But anyway...
Yeah, but I usually like to have sex when I'm upset.
I don't know.
I thought that's what was happening.
Casper just buries his face in your shoulder, Renori.
Raven
Wait, what
didn't,
was that,
I don't
Liz?
think.
Casper buries his face in your shoulder.
Oh. What's wrong?
No, he's
like,
he's trying not to, like, lose his mind laughing. Like, you feel it.
The door is gently opened. She's just like, Faustus tagged along.
Yeah, that tracks.
So, Casper, me and Faustus now know about the secret caramel thing.
The secret caramel thing?
Casper
Renori immediately perks up.
Casper visibly goes through the 5 stages of grief.
Renori, like, looks at Casper because she's, like, curled up in his lap and is like, why don't I know about the secret caramel
Faustus
thing?
quickly, like, closes the door and, like, gestures at Raven's like, shh, secret.
Okay. Sorry, I infringed upon the secret by having the door open. But, Fishhook let me bring this up to you because you didn't eat, and I figured that, this is better than nothing. So...
No, I appreciate that, Raven. I'm honing in, though, on the fact that I've been missing out on... What? I have a sweet tooth.
Casper's face is just buried in his hands.
Renori's like...
If you want some of mine, you can have some of mine.
Renori's, like, awkwardly perched in Casper's lap at this point.
Yeah.
Precariously about to fucking fall because she's, like, trying to lean back to see his face because she's, like, she's not, like, angry.
Are you sure you guys aren't?
Faustus.
Because this is... I feel like I've walked in on something...
Renori gestures to all of the clothes that she's wearing. Like, and also, like... her tear-stained face, like, Faustus, not the time. I'm concerned about sweets that I haven't been told about, even though I have a sweet tooth.
Raven
and
at this
apparently,
point is,
my
like-
fucking boyfriend doesn't want to share.
Raven at this point is trying to, like, silently just, like, go over. She opens it for Renori.
And she's just, like, trying to leave it.
Presenting it. Yeah, she's, like, presenting it to Renori to, like, calm her somehow. Just be like it's like how you silently approach, like, a backed animal.
Yes.
You're just like, please, just, it's okay. Like,
Renori will snatch it out of Raven's hand and take, like, a giant bite, but still be looking at Casper like, with a look of, like, explain yourself.
Casper, how long does Renori have to cohabitate in your quarters before it becomes domestic partnership and your plunder becomes community property?
One more time, because Lish just zoned out. I'm so sorry. Thank you, Valley, for the raid. I'm so sorry. One more time.
I don't remember what I said.
I heard community property.
It was stream of consciousness. It was stream of consciousness,
okay.
And it's gone.
Casper, how long do you and Renori have to cohabitate before your properties become shared? Blah 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 blah. What is it? 7 years.
Before it's a registered domestic partnership and it's community property, and his plunder has to be shared with Renori 50-50. Is that 7 years?
You said a lot of words.
Nautical law is a bit different. Maritime law is a bit different then.
And also,
terrestrial
my law is a bit different.
And accounting is showing.
So, because, like, rules, like, I don't, like, that sounds like government stuff, which I don't really do
more finance.
Don't do that either. So,
surprisingly, sometimes you don't have to break a single window if you just swindle someone out of their inheritance.
That's very specific.
Understanding inheritance law and financial law is actually rather important to a thief.
And Renori will finally have, like, swallowed the chunk of, Faustus, like, caramel she's eaten.
Faustus, you see Casper find an extra 2 stages of grief to go through.
Renori, like, holds the caramel, like, right in front of Casper's face. Why the fuck didn't I know about this sooner?
This was
Don't leave. Don't.
Raven, so when you snatched the caramel out of Raven's hand, her hands went up a little bit, and then she, like, stood there for a second, and then went down. And when you told her, no, you stay here, her hands shot back up. So she's kind of like,
I have things to tell you two. So I just need you to wait a minute, but I need my boyfriend to tell me about the secret caramel first.
Okay. Really didn't think it would come up. I was really hoping it wouldn't come up. And it predates all of you. So I didn't mention it because I didn't think about it. I mean...
Company really nice moments, intimately. That would have been a nice introduction to that information.
I just like having... I feel very cornered right now. I feel very cornered right now.
Renori will lean in to where, like, their noses are touching.
Hi.
You are very cornered right now.
Don't do that. Okay.
You said you weren't doing it in here, and it's starting to feel like...
Okay.
To interrupt something. At this point, Raven is conceding to the Faustus theory about they were having...
Are we being invited to something here?
No!
Do I need to formally accept or decline?
No. Absolutely not.
I don't think anything's happening.
Renori's gonna, like...
Look, I'm just reading the vibes.
Hey, Raven and Faustus!
Renori
had something to say to all of us. Let's do that. That sounds interesting.
Should I roll acrobatics or athletics for Renori to gracefully get out of Casper's lap?
You can just stand up. You want to roll? You can roll acrobatics.
I know her well enough.
Okay, just
to
roll me
make
acrobatics.
the call that it is not standing up is not in her repertoire.
All right, roll me acrobatics then.
Oh wow! Okay, an 18.
Okay, yeah. You kind of slide backwards a little bit, and your life flashes before your eyes for like a moment. But you've kind of had enough of falling off of stuff for like the recent period. So you just sort of stand up.
Yeah, Renori's gonna put the caramel down on the table and point at Casper. We are not done talking about this. And then, she'll turn to Faustus and Raven. So I talked to Tide, actually, and caught Tide up on everything that we talked about when he was not present. And then also got his input on who should come with us onto land, because ideally now or in a few hours I would love to be on solid land. And Tide and I actually share the same votes. We would like to bring Ripley and Tessa and Boomstick. I see that look on your face, Raven. But things aren't gonna get better if you don't spend time with them.
I guess.
Things also aren't going to get worse if you don't spend time with them.
That's like definitely not
and then
true.
He whispers, balance.
That's not true, Faustus, because a lot of times avoiding problems only allows them to grow and fester more. And sometimes if they fester, that's because, Faustus, you just leave. You just keep going, and then you don't have to worry about what's behind
I don't
you.
think we're gonna change him right now.
Except for the fact, Faustus, except for the fact that you leave and you don't worry about it. But now that we're going back onto land, guess what we have to worry about? Everything that you let just sit and fester.
I can look like whoever I want and turn invisible. I'll be fine.
I constantly had to, well, I still have to watch out for what's behind me.
You're different feelings about your situation, Raven.
No, I know.
I said you should get to familiar, and then you can have him do this. And I turn around, there's just a snake head poking out of the back of my collar, looking behind me.
Renori will take a tiny piece of caramel.
Raven also is going to do with the caramel she still has.
Lilith just kind of slinks up a little bit, and you see her tongue like poke out to like touch the little pieces a couple times, and then she just kind of, and just like it doesn't hurt. It's like she's not really biting with a lot of pressure, but just like over your hand a little bit, and then just pull the piece out of your hand.
And then there's a flash of movement, and Faustus spins around and he has his daggers out. It's like, that's when I get you.
Lilith like slides over the top of your head to sit on your head, so it kind of undercuts the drama just a little bit. She's very content right now.
And I don't have to be scared to go onto land for this reason.
I need you to know that in other scenarios, if I had less control over myself, I sometimes react to threats with just catching things on fire, which is not good on a wood boat.
Renori just cast Hold Person on Faustus.
Roll me a wisdom saving throw.
Nice try. I'm gonna roll an incredible wisdom save with a +1.
Oh boy.
Here we go. An 18.
Nice.
Just barely.
Did you just try
really quick
to do something to my mind?
Really quick. Tide. You said you were heading towards the crew quarters? What were you gonna do?
Yeah. Honestly, I think he was just gonna go lay down. He's had a long day, and he hasn't really taken a break from since watching over Ripley and that whole drama that unfolded, and then feeling like he didn't succeed with Renori. So I think he's just gonna go lay down and be sad.
Okay. You climb into your hammock. And it's gotten a bit quieter. A lot of the passing din from people going to collect their meals has faded. Most of the people who are in here are trying to get their due rest or are having hushed conversations in the farther corners. And you're able to kind of just curl up in your hammock. Are you intending to go to sleep, or are you just kind of just laying down?
I think for right now he's just gonna be laying down. If nothing happens in the next hour or so, he will probably fall asleep.
Okay. All right. Going back to the captain's quarters, Faustus, you feel the beginnings of a whole person just completely dissipate.
That's extremely rude.
You're lucky that I'm really emotional and off my game right now, but I don't really appreciate daggers being pointed at me.
It's perfectly under control. There's no danger.
Yeah, well, maybe I just wanted to prove to you that you're not the only one with tricks up your sleeve. But unfortunately, yeah, because I'm... Renori, like... Renori does this.
Renori, and he extends a hand, like, for a handshake.
Dear Saloon, give me strength. And Renori will shake Faustus's hand.
Too slow.
I knew that was gonna happen. I was waiting for it. Casper just kind of, like, looks at you, like, please don't. Please don't. Please.
Raven is the epitome of the woman was too stunned.
Renori is just gonna conjure dancing lights, like, in his face, very bright, and, like...
Raven will enhance that with
like,
guys.
And, like, the lights are gonna be really bright to, like, where anyone would be mildly affected by them, but just, like, 4 globules of, like, purple intense light are, like, all around Faustus's
Raven
face.
will also thaumaturgy them brighter to, like, support Renori in this
nice
shenanigan.
Okay. Faustus, it hurts. That's what I got for you. You encounter the sun.
And then all of a sudden, they're gone.
That's worse, because now your eyes have not adjusted.
There's just black spots.
Yeah, you just got just like the edges of your vision are there, but you're just like boom. It's not pleasant.
It's only a few levels till I get blind sense, and then that won't matter anymore. I can still see you even without eyes.
Anyway,
I'm actually really quick. I'm going to hold us so we can have a break. Because we are about at our half point. Yeah, that's where we're gonna stop. That's where we need to take a second.
We stop with just Faustus screaming. Oh,
yes,
he's blind now.
Okay. If you came in from Valley's raid, thank you so much, Valley. We love you. Please take care of yourself after your stream. I hope your stream was fantastic. If you're new here, hi, I'm Dauntless. This is my amazing pirate crew here. We have Kristen, Sarah, Chris, and Jake. All playing these wonderful, wonderful characters. If you do exclamation point Stormborn in the chat, it'll give you the character names so you can find out a little bit more about each of our characters. And if you want to catch up on our episodes, they are over on the VOD channel, and the last 3 or so episodes that we've done will be uploaded over the weekend. We love you here. Also, thank you, Mike, for the follow. We will be right back. Get a drink of water, take your meds, stretch, and we will see you. Oh yeah, go piss, girl. And we'll see you very shortly. Hi. Nice. I'm gonna have to readjust our window capture here for a second. Jake, unfortunately, was not feeling well, so had to dip out at the break. We're gonna talk about what Faustus is doing in a second, but before we get back into our adventure, just bear with me here. It's just gonna be interesting for a little bit. Before we get back into our adventure here, as I banish my friends from the mortal plane, I would also like to say, if you like what we do every week, I'm always looking for ways to Chris is the last one standing. I'm always looking for ways to improve the stream. I am very busy person working in professionally in a lot of industries. So streaming is a bit of a hobby for me. But if you like what we do, if you do exclamation point tip, you will find I am. My brain is working so hard right now. If you do exclamation point tip, you will find a Ko-Fi link that leads to my page. Those will always be used to cover my bills or potentially upgrade stream or grab cool new fun things to do our stream together. Donations are never necessary, always appreciated. It just kind of helps us keep running a little bit smoother because I spend a lot of my time and love on this campaign because it's my baby and I love all my players very much. And it's always appreciated. Whew. Also, if any new folks came in from Valley's Raid, we love you. Hope you're able to stick around. If you're not, that's totally fine. Please make sure you take care of yourselves, especially you, Valley, after your stream. We love you very much as well. And I don't know if mods, I don't know if you could do another shout out for Valley, but that would be super cool. Thank you. Also, welcome in, Mike. I saw your message. I don't know how you got here either, but I'm glad you're enjoying it. Strap in. And if you want to start from the very beginning, we've come a long way, both technically and story-wise. You can find those VODs over on the YouTube channel. I'm thinking back to like our first episode, and oh boy. Okay.
So who's watching Euphoria?
I don't.
Could not
I
be
just
me.
watched all of it.
How was that?
Last weekend.
We'll talk later, Chris.
It's
I
a
have
lot.
no access to HBO.
I have it.
I have a friend in IRL who's just like, oh my god, I'm going to give you my login, and then like always forgets. So it's hard.
It's just not my type of show, I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, I honestly, when people are like, oh my god, it's teenagers, I'm just like, I heard they have like sex on that show. At this point, I'm like, I feel like I'm good at seeing fictional teenagers.
That's fair.
You know?
I had one more thing to say when we came back from the break, but I cannot for the life of me remember what it was, so hopefully I'll remember by the end of it. Coming back in, so we're in the captain's quarters. Things have kind of gone sideways with shenanigans. Faustus, who is screeching from the subsequent burning light from dancing lights being enhanced by Raven.
I want to imagine for like over dramatic sakes, they're just like pretending to be passed out on the floor now.
Or counterpoint, because this is funnier to me. Faustus is he kind of just stumbles around a little bit as the edges of his vision begin to come back. And he just, I'm gonna roll stealth for him because I have his character sheet. Oh boy. Faustus just kind of groans, and you just watch as he just fades into the shadows. And you hear, as he's disappearing, you hear him go, Lilith will keep notes for me. I need a break. And you see on the floor, you see little Lilith with her wings tucked close to her body, and she just kind of slithers up and kind of coils around one of the chairs so that she can lay along the top of it, and she's just looking at you and just... and sitting there.
Raven will go up and like give another little piece of caramel for her.
Just the slow, very gentle...
And then she'll offer her arm for Lilith to climb up.
The tongue...
But it's like it's like your move. I'll just stand here.
The tongue like pokes out a little bit, and then she just very slowly coils around your arm. And it's gentle. It's a gentle squeeze. She's not a constrictor, so she's just kind of hanging out. The wings make her a little bit heavier than you would have expected. But she's just kind of chilling out, and her head finds its way to your shoulder, and she just sort of, she's just vibing. Okay, Faustus disappears into the shadow, because that is like basic over a 30 with stealth. So
nice.
Yeah. He's gone.
Renori's just gonna like triumphantly, like, haha, I won. And then she's gonna let that moment hang for just a second.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Raven will turn to Renora and be like, so did the caramel help a little?
Yeah, it did. Thank you. It helped. It also helped me find out that my boyfriend is a sweet hiding little rat.
I'm not gonna comment on that.
And Renori, like, will. Sorry. I'm just passing away at the idea of this all. Lord, my brain broke live on stream. Yes, no, thank you, Raven. I do appreciate it a lot. Thank you. And I'm sorry for storming out. You know, I kind of let Tide know that. And Renori will pinch the bridge of her nose. I am just, I've been stuffing down a lot of my own things, and they're all coming to the surface the more that we unpack everything, including Faustus's school, my school being part. I just want to get on land because I just want answers to anything, any of our issues or problems, not even just mine. I just am tired of sitting on this boat planning and not doing, and I'm starting to feel claustrophobic. And
I also want to know what happened to your phone. To think that something like that happened and then there was just no surface world repercussions to that is just wild to me. So that's
Thank
something
you.
I'm curious about too.
I appreciate that. So like I said, that's who Tide and I want to bring along. But obviously, it's a majority vote situation, not one of us or two of us dictating what happens.
No, I know. You know, if the only reasons that I can think of are just like personal, then I don't think that they seem like they're the most obvious. I just would have to double check to see if going ashore would fuck with Ripley's chain situation and if it would actually make it worse. But if she says it might be okay, then yeah,
Okay.
I'm okay.
Yeah. Okay. And Raven, I don't suggest Boomstick and Tessa ignorantly. I know there are issues there separately that you have with both of them, and I don't want you to think that I don't care about your feelings.
I know that. And I also understand that like Boomstick and Tessa seem to be the like more obvious choices. So
Okay.
you don't have to think about that.
Okay.
Not in this instance.
Thank you. Yeah, so if you want to go check in with Ripley,
Yeah, do you need to talk about anything? You say you've been stuffing. I've been there. Doesn't really work.
I am not ready to talk about anything except why I haven't found out about this caramel yet. And
I totally do not want to be here for.
Yeah, no, I know you don't. Yeah, I know. Yeah, and
it's entertaining. It's just that it feels like I'm like intruding on something that I should see. So.
No, I mean if you want to laugh, you can stay.
Casper gives you a look like, please don't leave me here.
Actually, and Renori will like look over her shoulder. I don't know if it's funnier if you leave or stay.
I'm fundamentally more scared, gotta be honest, fundamentally more threatened by Renori's presence at the moment. So I'm sorry, Casper. Love you like a brother, but if you... Do you want me to stay or do you want me to go? I'm gonna leave.
You can go. Yeah, you should go.
Okay.
And then the sooner you tell us about Ripley, the sooner we can get on land.
Casper is blinking twice for help.
Do I see Casper blinking?
It's very clear.
It's not see. He's like.
He's.
That's a lot of blinking.
Yeah, I think after like 2, it's like, please get out. You know.
Raven just leaves. She looked like she was about to say something, just turns around and leaves. Thaumaturges the door.
Renori.
It's like a slow shut, as if she just let it go at the last second, so it just gently goes closed.
Did Lilith climb onto Raven?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so Lilith is also gone. Okay.
Lilith isn't also not going to leave.
Yeah. Okay.
When you get out into the deck, Raven, Faustus is nowhere in sight. This is pretty standard, but
Faustus is the shadows now, so she's just looking for him would be a futile task.
Yeah.
So she will just head off to find Ripley.
Okay.
I forgot what I was doing.
Okay, so you Ripley's kind of just chilling on the deck. She Ooh, I have to roll a percentage for her. Hold on. This is fun. I haven't done this in a while. You see her kind of, so she's sat up on the railing, her butt on the railing, and she's just kind of holding it as the ship moves gently side to side. And she's just kind of kicking her legs and looking ahead.
Raven does do the double finger guns.
Nice.
Hey, so we have developed a tentative plan. We're planning on going back on the mainland, and she's just going to kind of bullet point the whole we could go to the Queen, we could go see Faustus, maybe both of them would have some sort of intricate knowledge on how to help you with your situation on that. And Raven will kind of, in the emphasis of you and your your fellow employees and your coworkers should not have to deal with this oppressive regime at your neck. So I have this vested interest in freeing you, and she's sort of framing it under this. Everyone should have the ability to back out of a contract, if they're able to, people should have the freedom to say, I don't want to do this anymore, leave.
Thank you. I don't know, I guess I'm just a little bit, I can't wrap my head around the idea that you guys would do something like this for me. I know there's other things at stake, but even considering me, wow.
Ripley, you're a person.
She kind of bends her head a little bit, kind of swipes under her eye a little bit before any tears can fall further. Yeah. I have a favor to ask of everybody, not specifically you.
Oh, sorry, just, it's a yes or no question. Real quick. Would going ashore fuck with your, and she kind of gestures over her arms to where, Raven's own arms to where Ripley's chains are getting worse. I think that's how you described it, right?
Yeah, and so it's kind of at this point semi-permanent. It's just a very gentle indent. The way if you poke your finger into your arm, you can see the pressure around it, but obviously there would be no finger. Yeah. That's just there, and you only... It wasn't like that when she first got on the ship with you all, but now it's just like that all the time.
Raven's going to kind of gesture towards like the invisible chains, and just be like, "Would that make it worse? Would it be better if you stayed far away from shore?"
No, it'll be fine. The only thing I think would be bad is if I went into one of the locations, you know, like one of our stores.
We probably will just avoid any bullseyes in their locations from now on and just shop local.
Yeah, it'd be a good idea. Not there aren't bad people in there. It's just I physically can't. If I go in, I mean, I could probably go into one that's not the Portstone location and be okay if you guys needed stuff, but like in general.
You know what? If we need, we'll just find like a potion shop or some like a mom and pop type situation.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Right. I just don't want to risk it.
That's fair.
Your safety is important.
She just smiles really wide to herself for a moment. Thank you. Yeah.
About a favor.
Right. So this doesn't have to be like now. It could be like I listen. I am fully aware the world's in peril.
Liz, the captions are not captioning.
Just I think they're updated now. Sick. Okay.
Probably.
Thank you. I am like, I mean, I'm very aware like the world's in peril, and I don't want to. I'm not gonna put myself before that, obviously, but or in general. But I made a promise to someone. I took this job because I ran away from home. And I needed something to do to feel fulfilled because I thought that I don't know. I didn't think I was the adventuring type, and hitting stuff with a hammer just didn't seem like me. And so I was like, well, then I'll take a job. I'll go the domestic route. It'll be fine. That'll build my character. And now look at me. But I made a promise that if I ever got out of this, that I was gonna go back home. And she reaches into her back pocket and pulls out a scrap of parchment and unfolds it. So I have a little brother. His name's John. And
John or Sean?
John.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure I heard that right.
Yeah. He
don't want another alliance.
Oh man, that was priceless. He's everything to me. Like everything to me. God. And I left him behind to go do this. And I think it's the biggest regret I have. And I would just really appreciate it if all of us could go do just a check on him and make sure he's okay. Because I got this letter from him, and I'm kind of worried.
How long ago did you receive this letter?
A couple days ago, maybe 3 or 4 days. I didn't say anything.
Ripley, this isn't a criticism, so please don't take it that way. But if something like this comes up, you can feel free to come to any of us about it.
Yeah.
Okay? You don't have to make it wait.
Right. I'm still getting used to that. Sorry.
You don't have to apologize. There's nothing to apologize.
And you just see this, like, she's tall, and she has such a build to her, like, she just takes up so much space, but you see she just looks so small in this moment. and she's almost just kind of like if she could pull her knees to her chest without falling overboard, she probably would. But she's just kind of like hunched over, just holding her arms.
Raven will put like a comforting like hand on wherever it would land, just because it's like I feel like
she's
Raven
like very high
would
up and
reach her
tall,
shoulder,
yeah.
but it might be like an awkward thing where like she's
Probably
full
her
extended.
knee. Probably her knee would make the most
Okay,
sense.
and then like just like a gentle like knee cup.
Yeah. I I got this letter a few days ago, and I think part of me just ignored it because home is complicated. But I am worried about him. He just sounded frantic and not like himself. And he's always been the kind of runt of the litter compared to all of us. Me and my siblings, and we were always the closest, and I protect him. That's my job. I protect my family. But I left my family, and he might be in trouble because of it. And so I don't want to... If we're going to the mainland and we are able to set me free, which is a big if, I don't know. I guess I'll have to talk to Casper, but I might just stay. Or maybe you guys could help. I don't know. I don't want to put everyone in a weird position.
Where was your home?
It's kind of on the way. I don't know if you've heard of it. Roll me a history check. And do you understand orc? Yep.
I don't even have to look at my character sheet.
You just know, yeah. Oh, the captions are...
Ooh, that would be, I believe, a modded 20.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. Give me one second, because I want to make sure... Get the right thing going here. 1 second. I'm about this close to setting a Ko-Fi goal for another monitor. Okay.
Do it. You won't.
I might. I'll think about it.
No,
I think the captions are being wonky again.
Yeah. And I don't know why they think they have the right to do that. I think they're better now? Sick. Okay, I think they are. Ripley says, I'm from Rakad, and that name does not spark anything for you because you don't speak orc.
Is there a spelling?
It does not.
I will spell not the joy. I will spell it for you. RICCADH.
I would have spelled that so incorrectly. So that's I can infer that that's like the orcish name.
That's the orcish name, yes. And with a modded 20 history, you've heard of it before. Never been or seen it yourself. It is on the edge of the bay, kind of naturally cushioned by the Spine, which is a long mountain range that carves through most of the western half of Faerun, starts in Rydell and curves just upwards through most of the kingdoms. And it sits right at the end of that, where a bunch of open rivers begin to flow down into the bay itself. Very well protected. And the name kind of rings a bell to you. It is a orc stronghold. One of the largest ones in existence. And it's very secretive. You don't know much about it, like, from general history. You just know that it's there, and most people speak its name either in reverence or fear.
Oh, speak the name of the village?
Yeah.
In reverence or fear. Okay. Can't write. I was going to say something, but it's just people talk about it in reverence. furiously scribbling. Okay. Raven is going to. Does Raven have an idea of like how within our path this would be?
You could make a stop, because it's situated on the end of the bay, and you have to leave the bay and head north. So you could like curve around and then keep heading north if you wanted to.
Raven will just be like, so we have basically a to-do list. I don't think it would be too out of the way to go check in on your brother. We could do that first. In fact, you don't even have to wait for us to get to the queen or to the wizard school to even try to figure that out.
Thank you.
It's already been 3 days. You know, you should.
Yeah. I just miss him. I miss him so much. Okay.
Raven will sort of squeeze the kneecap.
She just kind of shudders out this quiet sigh, swipes the tears away, and then clears her throat and stands. Yeah. I'm gonna go tell Casper.
Yeah. She was going to think about how Renori's probably tearing Casper a new one about the caramel thing. She will go, you know what? I would definitely knock. You probably know to knock. I didn't have to say that. But like, I don't have to. There was something happening.
Okay. I'll just go to him later. It's not a big deal.
You should go to him. I'm just saying, just to knock.
Oh, okay.
Make sure the coast is clear.
Right. Okay. Thank you again.
Of course.
She gives you a weak sort of smile and then begins making her way to the captain's quarters.
Raven's going to hug her before she leaves.
Oh. She gives you a big hug and she kind of like bends over a little bit so it's more encompassing. And she just kind of shuffles a little bit awkwardly, like not sure she should let go, and then she just accepts it. I'm gonna go over to Tide. So Tide, no one has come to get you. No special like disturbances so far. But you are aware of where everyone's headed. And as these thoughts begin to brew in your mind, the movement of the ship is slowly starting to lull you to sleep. Is there anything you wanted to do, or are you going to give in to it?
I think he will kind of think to himself that he really needs to be the one to invite Boomstick when it comes down to it. Mm-hmm. But he's also very tired and sad and doesn't really want to get up. So he's kind of like manifesting that no one else does it.
So he can do it.
So he can do it, yeah.
Okay. All right. So your hammock already has been doing this, but it mimics the rhythm of the ship as the ship moves. And there's a comfortable sort of warmth down here. And your eyes flutter shut.
Oh, so did someone pee on Tide?
God damn it, Kristen.
What?
See, all I did was make a face.
Kristen
came out with a vengeance.
No, I'm still bitter. I'm still bitter for when
said there is a warmth down here now, which triggered my face, but Kristen came out.
No, so for chat who doesn't know, a while ago, Casper and Renori were peacefully waking up in bed. No.
And
no. No, they were peacefully waking up in bed, and the sunlight was filtering through, and so we were waking up to the warm sunlight, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, Casper peed the bed!" And
Renori
anyway,
wouldn't move, so Casper had to pee in the bed.
that's not how it works.
Sarah,
I am not ever allowed to use the word warm in this campaign because every time I do, no matter what I'm describing, it could be the sky. Instead of, temperature.
Just warm feeling.
Nothing can ever describe temperature in this campaign because it's always piss. And there's nothing I could do about it.
Maybe the piss was the friends we made along the way.
I'm so bitter.
Just
listen, it's canon for the.
It's not, and you don't get to decide that though. It's really not. Like I promise it's not.
I don't know.
I do. I know.
So anyway, Tide sleeping in piss.
Here's the thing about Genasi,
Damn,
though. They can just make water disappear. So even if he pees himself, it's gone.
Whatever.
That's an interesting bit of lore that
Well, he wouldn't be wet. Well, I mean, he's always kind of wet, but.
Ayo, in a sexy way?
Y'all see what I deal with, right? Like, everybody sees it, right?
Wait, Tide's had sex in this campaign.
But not in this timeline.
Kind of.
Did he?
I don't know. He can think about it, but did it actually happen?
Anyway.
I'm not
Renori.
Yep, Renori. Yep. Hey,
Captain's
what's up?
quarters.
Yep.
Raven moonwalks out of the captain's quarters.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And the door shuts.
We probably did the Homer Simpson gif into the hedges.
Into the hedges, yeah.
It's just like...
Mm-hmm.
How do you want to do this? Just fucking kill him.
How do this? Just eviscerate.
Magic missile. No.
Raven all of a sudden develops the ability to shoot lasers out of her eyes.
No.
So once Raven softly shuts the door closed, Renori will spin around on her heel and like walk over to Casper, and she'll sit like on the edge of the table in front of him and pick up the caramel in a hand. And
roll me a perception check.
Huh?
Roll me a perception check.
Oh, yeah, by all means. 24?
Caramel's a little bit smaller than it was a few minutes ago.
So, how'd you like your bite?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I'm not a fucking idiot, Casper.
Never said you were. I have no idea what you're talking about.
This was not this small when I turned around.
Ayo!
Damn it, Sarah. Sometimes science
you
is
have
beyond
no
us.
impulse control?
No.
You have no impulse control sometimes? Because that's what it looks like.
The laws of science are beyond us, and sometimes stuff happens and can't be explained.
Listen, Captain Cutie, and Renori's gonna, like, lean in and do the nose-touching thing again, but her eyes, I mean, they're not, like, really, like, I'm gonna eviscerate you, but they're, like, mockingly, I'm gonna eviscerate you. When did, you plan on telling me about your secret stash of delicious fishhook artisan crafted caramels when you knew that your girlfriend had a sweet tooth?
There is no answer where I survive this, so I'm going to choose to not say anything. I think that's the smart choice. I feel as though I would be advised to be quiet, so I'm going to be quiet.
So, what you're telling...
Does Casper have a lawyer with him right now?
He should. He needs one right now.
What you're telling me is that you were gonna never tell me. And Renori will, like, cup his chin between her fingers.
It's not that I wasn't gonna tell you. It's just like it predated you all being here, and then I genuinely didn't think about it, and then you found my stash. So,
when was the last time you ate one of these?
Honestly, it's been a while.
But like pre us showing up on the ship?
No, actually, I had one the day we met. Now that I think about it. That's
okay,
the
we
last
weren't
time.
having sex yet, so it makes sense that you might not have told me that day. But
That's the
you know,
prerequisite.
like when Bishop was like, "Here's these amazing waffles and pancakes and shit," and I was like, "Wow, I love sweet things." Your brain didn't go like, "Wow, sweet food makes my girlfriend so happy," and then so many times since then you've seen me sad, and you were just like, "No."
I didn't think about it genuinely because I haven't had one in so long. I just don't eat super regularly, and also I didn't think it'd be a good idea to give you food at the time because I didn't want you to take it as me dismissing your feelings. And now that I know that that's not how you feel about it, I will do that more because I like making you happy. So
You know, the jury hasn't quite decided the verdict yet. But we're gonna ponder everything that you've brought forward today. Notably, though, you did not bring forward a caramel. So that is heavily factoring into our decision. So if there's anything else you would like to say, speak now or forever hold your peace.
Speak now or forever hold your peace. It's always best.
Don't, Liz, just keep going. Just keep going. Don't do it. Power through.
He leans forward. And gets just the slightest smirk on his face, and he goes, "Well, if I get a closing statement, and you like sweet, is there any way I could make this up to you?"
Damn it, Chris! Chris! Chris broke me. I'm sorry. It was just like, it was the pettiest fucking queer head nod I've ever seen in my life. Like,
this fervent, just like, please, for the love of God, no.
Renori laughs at Casper.
It's worth a shot.
Yeah, nice try. Normally in most situations that would have worked. But you know, I don't want you to feel like you've earned something, you know? And
that is true.
And you know, you would really get like a net positive out of that experience. So we're not gonna
I mean, but we both win.
Yeah, but I don't want you to win right now, babe.
Okay. Yeah, no, that tracks. That's fair. I can see how that would work out. He's still giving you that look.
Renori sighs and like physically removes herself from being in front of him, and she will go like sit on the other end of the war table. Listen, you're really trying to appeal to my lack of self-control right now.
Yeah.
And part of me wants to say props, you know me well. But then also part of me wants to strangle you because it's really difficult to not have sex with you. So, oh, I'm really glad that you're getting all smug about it.
This is just very entertaining for me personally.
Yeah, you know, next thing I'm gonna find out is that, like, your birthday was yesterday or something.
You see Casper go through, like, one of the classic face journeys. Goes specific.
5 stages of grief. Again?
Probably, like, 6. You know, like, he found an extra 2.
I so hope for Casper's sake this is when Ripley is like, hey.
There's a knock on the door.
Wait, actually, when is your birthday? Renori is not acknowledging the knock yet. She's aware, but she's like...
Casper visibly sweating. Yeah? And, you hear Ripley's voice outside the door. I hope I'm not bothering you guys. I just had something to say really quick.
No, you're fine, Ripley. Just like 1 second. Casper has
okay.
one more thing he needs to say. Hey,
I'll just wait out here then, I guess.
Yeah, so like my birthday is in October, in fall.
Mm-hmm.
There are no months.
When is your birthday?
Nah, he would just tell you.
No, Renori is a Scorpio.
Oh.
So you know how
Renori gives water / earth signs.
So you know how you just made like the super funny joke about how like next thing you know we're gonna tell me that your birthday was yesterday. You know how that was like a thing that just happened that you said?
I am aware of what I just said because I am asking you for an answer.
So it's like super hilarious that my birthday was yesterday.
What? Your birthday was yesterday!
The idea that Discord cut out that yell was so great. Comedic timing.
That was so beautiful. He like scoots back. And a gut reaction. It's not a big deal, babe.
It is a big deal. I want to celebrate your existence. What the fuck are you talking about?
I feel like I'm in trouble.
You are in trouble. You can't just have a day of your birth and not share that with your girlfriend.
It's literally never been a big deal.
Chad's birthday was just like 2 days.
Yeah.
Was that like a joint birthday party? No,
that'd be weird. It's about him, you know?
Well, then why are we not celebrating you? You're the fucking captain!
Yeah, but I'm not... Like, contrary to semi-popular belief, I am not an attention whore. In general. I think that's a very common perception of me. That is not true.
I think that's like a case-by-case kind of thing, because like when it comes to me, you kind of are an attention whore, but like...
Yeah, but like specifically for you...
Come in, Ripley!
Ripley just very gently just opens the door, peeks her head in.
What's up, Ripley? Come in. And Renori, like, is trying to act very chill. She's, like, now leaning back, like, with her arms crossed and, like, her leg is bouncing. And she's trying really hard to school her face into, like, hey, what's up? How you doing? But she very clearly looks, like, not chill.
Okay, yeah, okay, so I talk...
Raven's voice from the ether. You should definitely tell Casper what's going on, Ripley.
The ghost of Raven passed. Okay, so I'll give you the short version, because I don't want to take up too much of your time here.
No, Ripley, but just... It's okay, this is a safe place. Mm-hmm. We're here for you. Just don't, like, rush. It's okay.
Safe place except for Casper.
Yeah, except for Casper.
Casper's not safe right now, but you are.
I don't know what that means. Too afraid to ask. I am okay. Deep breath, Ripley. Deep breath. So, you know how you all were like, "Hey, we're gonna maybe like bust you out of your job," and like decided that on your own, and I'm not putting you in a weird position. This is not going well.
Wait.
I have a favor to ask.
Oh, okay. Do you want us to not get you out of your job?
No. That's not what it is. I have a little brother, and he's everything to me. Everything to me, and I received a letter from him that just has me really worried about his safety.
Where is he?
Roll me a history check.
16.
Okay. So she's gonna speak, and then I'll tell you what you know. He's in Ricard, which is where I'm from. And this is the first time I'm hearing from him in a little while since I left, really. You know that Ricard is a orc stronghold. One of a few around Faerun in general. There are orc populations have a very strong cultural history, so even though there are orcs spread, a very populated orc population across all of Faerun, and half orcs and et cetera, especially of all different parentage. They do tend to have sort of ancestral strongholds where generational families will grow and thrive. And Ricard is one of them. Don't know super much about it, just that it exists. Like you have heard of it before.
So would I know like where it is on the map?
I mean, there are like maps in front of you. You could like it's in Rydell.
Damn, Liz really said
Saying,
there's fucking maps on the
like a
table
map
you're
right
sitting
there.
at, you dumb.
No.
Anyway.
Look at the reference.
Right there.
Renori will like take that in. I mean, we're heading to land, and if you wanted to go with us, I'm assuming, since you know about all of this, that you know Raven or someone came to talk to you.
Raven did, yeah.
When did you get this letter?
A few days ago.
Renori stands up and like puts her hands on the desk and looks Casper directly in the eye. We're going there now.
Okay.
A few days is too long.
I'm not, before anybody says anything, I'm not saying no. Just hold on. And he turns to Ripley. Okay. If we're going there, which we are, but if we're going there, I can only bring us so close. How is your standing with your home? Is there going to be a risk to the ship? Just so I know how to plan. There's no dock there, which you know. And Ripley kind of just shuffles in place, like, ooh, so not stellar. Not, I would have to say that I kind of was, like, important a little, maybe, and then I left.
Are you royalty too?
No, maybe by your standards, but that's not really how my culture works.
Okay.
My dad is the chief, so I suppose. But it's not really like a whole...
Yeah, it's a... Yeah.
It's more of a cultural trust thing. It's not like, oh, we have money,
That's what all rich people sound like, yeah.
Yeah, that... Okay.
I had a disagreement with my father, and I left. And so I would say, like, maybe a 5 out of 10. Like, I don't think they'd try to kill us. They just wouldn't be super enthused.
Okay, like a 5 out of 10, that's not too bad. Do you think that, like, the ship would be in danger at all?
Because it's not one of our vessels, possibly. I mean, the best bet would be... So there's, like, the rivers that come down from the spine, right? And then it, like, connects to the bay. But we have gates on the outside of the river because, like, defenses. So you can't sail up the river. But if you wanted to, like, leave your ship outside of the gates, technically you're not on our land, so we wouldn't... Like, we have a whole thing about defense before offense, so it should be fine. There's just no official port.
What if we just, like, teleport onto land?
We just park the car down the street. On the next street.
Well, yeah, and we don't even have to...
I don't know much about... I'm not really a...
We've got some options, I think. We could either ask Tessa to yeet us onto land, or we could, you know, pull up to land, not necessarily right near your home, and travel on land there to protect the ship, and also maybe to give ourselves some time to, like, be ready for... You know, not so far that it would take days and days of travel, because if you already got this letter a few days ago, I want us to get there quickly, you know?
Right. Yeah. Okay. And she takes this deep breath, and you see a sort of shift in her demeanor from the sort of flustered, like, nerves to something more calm and intentional. Okay. We have a ship that we can't have discovered, and we have our defenses, which I know very well. I don't know. I mean, the teleportation thing might be good. I don't know how that works. I haven't trained in magic. I don't know about that stuff.
Better to do it at night when it comes to Saloon and Tessa. So
that's fair. In general, I guess a good plan B would be to park if you anchored the ship, this could work. Like more than a few miles, but a little ways away from our main settlement. There's, like, a very small sort of fishing village. It's considered part of our settlement, but they just kind of do their thing outside the walls. I know a few people there, and they'd watch over the ship. I'd stake my life on it.
We've got a solution.
Okay. It's gonna be more complicated to get inside. I mean, I can walk us in. And she kind of, like, leans back a little bit. I can walk us in. It's just I don't know how we're going to get to him.
Well, good news is that both I and Faustus have invisibility capabilities.
Oh.
I can turn other people invisible. And, you know, it feels like one of those things that we're not gonna know how it's gonna go until we're there.
Okay. I thought I should let you guys know because, you know.
No, I appreciate it, Ripley, and you can tell us this stuff the second it happens, okay? You don't have to wait days or for the right opportunity. It's not an inconvenience. It's not an inconvenience to ask your friends and found family to help you out with things that are important to you.
It's just been a while since I've been able to lean on somebody without consequences, so thank you.
I mean, the only consequence you might have by leaning on me is I might crumple because you're, like, way taller than me, but, like...
I noted. I'm gonna go, I guess.
Cool. Do you want to tell Tessa that she's coming with us?
Oh, yeah, I can do that.
Great. Thank you, Ripley.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. We're gonna get this figured out, and we're gonna make sure your brother's okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. First order of business.
She takes a parchment, the letter, and she's just kind of fiddling with it in her hands, and she makes her way for the captain's quarters door and then just shuts it very gently behind her.
Is her frame ducking down so low?
Yes, she does have to bend like a full foot to go out of the door. Yes, but it is very clearly something she is used to.
Yeah. So we're going, like, now? Yeah?
Yeah. I have to figure out which... We're gonna have to talk in the morning. But I'm gonna set us on that bearing because there's 2 ports that we could go to, and I'm quite honestly going to leave it to you all. We have to obviously go a different direction to get to her homestead in the first place, but after that, because we can't just leave the ship there. A port will be the safest place because we can disguise the ship, the crew's staying behind, they can keep up a ruse of a merchant ship, whatever. I'm planning on pretending to be a merchant anyway. I've got a whole thing going, so... But I'm going to leave it to you all about which is going to be easier. I obviously have my opinions, but it's going to be a group choice.
Yes, leave it to the people who are pretty much all brand new at sailing.
It's not about that. It's about with what you have to do and who you're running from.
Fair.
There are 2 major ports, and either could have benefits and drawbacks, and I don't want to put us in a position where people are like, what the fuck? Why are we here? So.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah. I just want to get to Ripley's brother.
Me too.
Ideally 2 days ago, so.
Yeah. Casper just gets kind of quiet. And he's just kind of, like, you see the gaze just go distant.
You went somewhere. Where are you going?
Nothing.
That's not true. I'm not gonna push it, though. You'll tell me if you want to. I
just got a weird feeling. There was nothing more to it.
I don't like the sound of that, but, okay.
I'm gonna go set us on our correct bearing, and I'll be back in a couple minutes. And he just gives you a kiss on the cheek, and then a longer, more lingering kiss on the temple, and then he gets up and he makes his way out of the captain's quarters. What are you doing in this time?
Well, like, as he, like, kisses her cheek, she'll grab his hand and, like, thread their fingers together, and then as he's walking out, she'll just hold on to it until, like, she can't anymore, and let it go. And then, she'll probably sit down and memorize the maps so that she has it for her keen mind, and, like, memorize every detail possible. And that's what she'll spend the rest of her time doing.
Okay. For all 3 of you, the crescent moon in the night sky is just sort of overlooking you in your various points on the ship. The sort of rougher waters have calmed substantially in this time. The breeze has died down to basically nothingness. It's just open, stagnant air. And because you're starting to approach to be closer to land, you can hear the faint calls of seagulls in the distance and other water-faring birds. And the Seahawk begins to shift ever so slightly more inland towards this cluster of islands that you've been seeing sort of on the horizon with where you are. A couple just beyond you, but mostly off to the left. And you start turning more that way.
Pirate campaign in which we all just don't know.
I always get them mixed up, and at this point I'm too afraid to ask. So it's the left. And as the ship...
The left of the ship?
Yeah, like if you're standing facing the front of the ship, is off to the left.
Okay.
And the ship
Not just
just...
like any...
No. The ship just slowly begins to change its bearings to head deeper into the bay and towards the coast of Rydell. And that's where we're going to end tonight's episode. Woo! Okay. Really quickly, first of all, thank you to everybody who's hung out with us for this episode. It's a little bit shorter than our usual episodes, but we are all in need of some good rest. But thank you so much for hanging out with us. Thank you again to Valley for the raid. We love you. We love your community. If you haven't checked out Valley, Valley is an incredible, hilarious, super kind person. We love Valley and her community. And thank you to everybody who is new and joining us for the very first time. Also to our very familiar faces. We love you and appreciate you. Once again, all of the remaining episodes that have not been present, I think we're missing 21 through now 24 on the VOD channel. Those will all be going up this week. I'm going to be very slowly uploading those videos, so look out for those. And if you want to catch up, as always, the VOD channel is in the chat. It's also in my panels and the about thing under my face. And you can also find the link on my Twitter, which is Dawn_Liss. So you can catch up and also watch my other gaming VODs, because I play video games every once in a while. As always, please support my amazing cast. I love them very much. They are my favorite. Kristen, Sarah, Chris, and Jake, who unfortunately had to leave us at the break, but we still love them anyway. I believe we will be back with an episode next week, but you can check my Twitter for updates. Is that everything? I think that's everything. Okay, thank you so much. We're all gonna go get some rest. I hope you guys get some rest too. And as always, thank you for hanging out with us for another episode of Stormborn's Curse. We'll see you next time.
You said the thing.
I said the thing! We'll see you next time. Bye, guys.